Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by to hang out with us while we enter Chapter 3 of the Werewolf the Forsaken Very Angry Dogs campaign. Sorry about the little technical difficulties we had a few minutes ago. Without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to Chris Allen up here. He's going to give you guys a little lead-in as to what we're doing, and then we're going to kick off the game.
Yep, okay, so what happened last time? Well, three American werewolves in deepest, darkest Dorset, having arrived at the inherited estate of one of them, sort of settled into the aftermath of one of their eyeballs, one having his eyeballs explode, experiencing a strange raft of visions, which I won't go into the details of now, but they were I imagine they're fairly burned into the memory of the character in question. And as a strange presence pushed through the locust there and then receded. And then really, I mean, what happened last time? The pack kind of settled in to the territory a little bit, checked it out, sought out its bounds. Jack, who was the fellow who had his eyes explode, used the information from that to try and figure out things like the previous pack territory that had been held by Kestrel's children, with the intent of claiming that as a new territory boundary for the new pack. You ran into the horses, two of whom are apparently claimed, and Jack had some good talks with the one human and one wolf-blooded stable people. I don't, whatever the phrase is for people who look after horses. Yeah, and had a bit of a standoff with the two claimed ones, which left the pack a bit at odds over what to do about the horses, with a general sentiment of not wanting to pick too many extra fights and extra problems than you already have. There was some venturing into town to chat to Mary, the pack member Wolf-Blooded, about the town's history, and about Hawkhurst, Corley Hawkhurst, in fact, a person who the visions also revealed, who was an architect in town. You'd found a land survey report indicating that there had a long time ago been quite a radioactive site under the Kestrel Hall estate, or in the soil there for some reason, possibly meteorite impact. Today, of course, a lot of that radioactivity is little more than background, but back in the day it would have been a bigger problem. The pack went through Aunt Clarissa's stuff in the shadow in her lair, with the gateway of pain designed to hurt you in an act of worship towards Silverwolf, and a strange collection of goods within: the blood samples from everyone in town, a set of strange severed heads, all sorts of oddities, including some talons which the pack have snaffled up. One of those heads is a distorted, somewhat sickly, spoiled thing, which appears to be a fruit from a tree that Jack had seen in his vision. After some shenanigans, John managed to figure out vaguely where he thinks that tree might be, and the pack decided, since the tree is probably a god-awful claimed thing, they want to go and hunt it down and destroy it. We'd ended last time with the pack performing their first sacred hunt. It's a spring storm overhead, rain is washing down, and around a bonfire on the front garden in front of the manor. Jack had led the pack in the Stormward sacred hunt, and that's where we'd left it, with the successful completion. Everyone has the inspired condition for something relating to this hunt. Jack has the symbolic focus condition on him, and obviously everyone has the Siskadar, the sacred hunt condition itself. Now, I have a quick question for you, Jack, just as sort of a matter of admin thing, really. The sacred hunt you called, what is the target you have named as the prey?
Tree.
The tree. Okay. It's just because there's different ways you can phrase it and different ways you can target things, so that's important to know. The sacred prey for this hunt is the tree. This does not mean that... so say you come across something else and you have to fight someone else to get to the tree, for example. That is still actions towards the hunt, so you do not go off the hunt if you have to get past someone trying to protect the tree, but they are not the prey, if you know what I mean. It's the tree that's the prey. Okay?
Yes, the tree in particular is the prey.
Yeah. So if it has guardians and you have to fight to get past them, that still counts for things like the inspired condition that Thornbreaker dropped on everybody. But the only one who the special abilities kick off on is the tree itself, the seeing, possessing or claiming spirits and all that thing.
Okay.
So as I said, we'd left off. It is cascading with rain, thunder rolling across the grey sky above. We are starting with 8 eats in the pot this time. A quick bit of admin just for any people watching. We are going to be finishing up slightly early today, just due to real life stuff, which is also why we're starting early. So I guess we'll get on with it. Pack, you are gathered in the rain by a bonfire that is not guttering, but is no longer blazing with quite the same intensity. You have 2 likely locations in the nearby countryside to the northwest of Kestrel Pool. It will take some time to get to them, but not hours. Especially if you take wolf form, you can go pretty damn fast. It is dark. It is wet. Dorset's country lanes are very much country lanes. They are winding roads, mostly fairly good condition, but some really not, with tall hedges, almost usually tall hedges or rows of trees around them. What this means is that getting around the countryside is not actually that hard for a pack of wolves if you don't want to be spotted. You can run across a whole load of fields and down some lanes and things, and generally, you'll see someone's car coming way off, and this time of night in a storm, there's not likely to be many people walking around the place. The only issue is going to be if you, say, run through a field of livestock and terrify them as wolves. You have, as I said, 2 locations. The 2 locations in question, one of them is a very old orchard, which is... Oh, I have a tiny baby who's come to say hello. Hi, Molly. You come to say hello? Oh, hello, Molly. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Now you can go away. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Sorry, she managed to... She can now walk fairly ably by herself and push doors open and things, so she decided to come and say hello. You have a very old, what looks like a very old orchard on a farm that's quite extensively run down, from what you can see on Google Maps and stuff, and a few going to Street View and things when you were researching earlier. It doesn't look like it's in good condition, but it does have quite extensive old orchards. And the other orchard is a much more functional one, with smaller, but it has quite a lot of well-maintained orchardry, and is part of a functional modern kind of setup, if you like. In terms of why you were thinking those 2, well, partly it's your supernatural abilities on the part of Johnny. Partly also they are the nearby orchards with the kind of history and the space that you think would be needed to hide a tree like the tree in question, the Tree of Heads. But you haven't really done much more research than that. So, as to any other signifiers that would help you target one or the other, you don't currently have them. So, what's the plan?
So we have the head that is the fruit of one of the tree.
Yes.
One of the fruit of the tree.
Yes.
All right. So can I? And I don't recall if this is still applicable in second ed. Can I get the scent of the fruit?
Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely. You can.
Okay. What roll would that be?
There's no need to roll it. You've got the head. You can just smell it.
Okay.
What that will give you is that if you come across that scent now, you will recognize it. You don't have a trail because the trail. Who knows when the head arrived here or if it arrived in the physical at all. But if the tree is in the physical, you will recognize the scent when you get close.
Chris,
right, so which location do we think is more likely?
The one that the Kestrel's Children territory was a circle before, and at the northern part, it was the Kestrel's Children territory was this circle, right? And at the northern part, it's kind of like divoted in.
Yeah.
So you think something else pushed that back? You think it was the tree? All right, so then let's check there first.
Okay. Of the 2, of the 2 locations, the one that's furthest into that divot is the modern farm. The older orchard is much closer to the Kestrel's Children territory.
Then we'll check the older orchard first.
What's the other orchards? What's the other orchard called?
Quick bit of searching. There is the modern one is Reds or Red, depending on which. It looks like it may have been an area called Reds, and now it's the branding is like Red Orchard. The older one is a what's that? Let me just check the name. Doesn't have a name for the orchard, but the farm is named Weirgrod.
So, because Keith learned that Claris had some sort of deal with Red's Orchard, I think that also makes the most sense.
Right. Now, Chris, could you just, for clerical purposes, just throw the name of that second orchard in the chat so I can see the spelling?
Sure.
Thank you.
Werewolf. There we go.
Okay. All right, so yeah, we'll check. Reds was the one you get to deal with, so we'll check Reds first.
Okay.
Everybody in green?
Right.
It's probably the best plan of action right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Okay, so are you planning to race? Are you going to sort of walk there on foot? Are you going to race across the countryside as wolves? Are you? What's your plan of attack for getting there?
I was planning on traveling in Urhan form. I think it'll give us sharper senses, and we'll get there quicker, and we can stay a little stealthier.
Yep, agreed.
100%.
Okay, so you take the form of wolves, flesh shivering, skin splitting, hair erupting, bones cracking. You know, at your harmony, it's fairly smooth still, and down you go into these forms, and the world leaps alive in colour and scent. The rain is masking a lot of the usual kind of cornucopia of scents that you would pick up, and it's interfering with your hearing somewhat. The darkness isn't really giving you any issues. So the surroundings are helping with stealth and also for concealing your approach, but also concealing others. But they're not, by no means is it sort of blinding you. And you race forth from the estate, you know, under hedgerows, across fields. There's wet earth, rich wet earth. As you go, you notice a few bits, sort of scents around the place as you travel. There's the stench of cattle in nearby fields. The smell, you can smell the plant life, the trees, even the small animals. This place has a bounty of not game, not the kind of things that people would hunt to eat, but animals would. You know, shrews, voles, small rodents, birds, insects. The place is absolutely thriving. It's spring, so you'd expect that to some extent, but nonetheless, this is. It's not those of you who changed in the US, the areas you changed. It's not so much they were lacking this, but this is a particularly fertile area with a lot of life in it. Can I have perception checks, please? Remember, you have +4 to these dice rolls because you are in wolf form. This is not hunt related, so you can't ping the inspiration for hunting stuff on it. This is a sort of a side note, really.
So that was 5 successes from me.
Okay.
7 successes from me.
Jesus. Okay.
Jesus Christ. Give me a second.
Let me just check the secret. I don't know if
Part of me hopes Pete gets 0 just because that would be hilarious.
It would be, and it would track with my luck in other games.
With that many dice to roll.
4.
4 successes, however, it's an exceptional success for me.
Yes, because you have things. So this,
3 exceptions, nice.
You don't get the Cisco Dar benefit bonus beats in this because this isn't rated as a hunt. This is a bit of info as you go across. As you race across rolling fields, through copses of trees, over, you know, splashing over streams, you notice something as you go, which is that you can smell quite a distinct smell as you travel across the few miles to this place. An odd change in the underlying smell. And it may be that at first you're not quite sure what it is, but all of you have got exceptional successes, so all of you are going to get this information. One thing you were perhaps quite surprised at when you became werewolves and you took the werewolf form and you experienced the full blast of senses is the different things you can smell as a werewolf that you wouldn't think you would be able to. You know, if you're dealing with people, you can smell all sorts of stuff like related to chemicals in their blood. Even if they're not bleeding, people just radiate this stink. And the land is also like that. You can detect, they get sort of dogs for tracking things, like even, not just drugs, but even relatively minor things like sort of traces of dirt and things from crime scenes. Well, you can do that too, and you can smell the difference in the earth as you're traveling across the bands. You can smell parts of them are very clayish. It's almost overwhelming as a dog, this sort of clayey smell, as if you're almost in a potter's workshop. And then bands of it are in a much more, well, a sandy or limey kind of smell, limestone. As you are going, because of the exceptional success, as you are traveling, you maybe occasionally look across into the shadow, or extend your senses to the shadow, and you notice that each of these bands marks a distinct change in the corresponding shadow. So, grazing across here, you can see the shadow itself is carved up into fiefdoms by spirits based on the bands of earth. They're also carved up based on like the lines of the fields themselves, but the change in the soil itself, the courts of earth, the spirits of the earth have significant power here, and they have drawn battle lines or lines of control based on this change in the real earth. Not necessarily vitally important to your current hunt, but you all completely blitz those rolls, so there you go. There's a bit of a wild tangent there. It doesn't take you long to cross the landscape. The shadows beneath the trees, slink through them, past rabbit holes, foxholes, slumbering badgers, across fields that are ploughed and ready to take seeds, and some in the early stages of growth, past the stench of the cattle. And then to Red's Orchard. Here, amongst a few rolling hills, the orchard sprawls across. It's not as big as Weregrod, but it is still substantial. Are surrounded by a few fields, but mostly just copses of woodland. Within it are orderly rows and rows and rows of trees. There's a farm itself. The sort of the farm area is a small cluster of buildings near the main entrance, and then a few spokes of structure going off throughout it. The occasional shed or barn across this. And then you've just got this rolling up hillside, down up in a valley. Orchards. It is at this time of night. Obviously, it's quiet as you approach under the cover of rain splashing down. You can smell in the air the scent of the apple trees. Obviously, this time of year, it's not exactly heaving with fruit, but there's obviously been a lot of work going on. It is the time of pollinizing, fertilizing some of the trees, and it being the modern day, generally you'd expect a fair amount of mechanization of that, or sort of even in Dorset, it's not all being done by hand these days. However, there is some farm machinery around the place in Reds, but not an awful lot. For its size, the smell, the scent of oil and machinery is relatively low. The farmhouse sits like a bastion in the center, down this gravel road. A few lights shining with dim light, but mostly dead and silent. The surrounding buildings are equally quiet, but for the pattering of, you can smell and hear the distant pattering of rats and the like. So you are standing at the edge of this orchard. Somewhere in here may be this hive claim, this tree, this monstrous thing with fruiting with heads. And I'm going to ask for another perception check from everybody.
I'm going to take a big sniff.
Yep.
Old sniffity sniff.
Now, is this hunt related? Do we get any bonuses for this?
So this is hunt related. So you don't get bonuses, but you can use the inspired condition on this if you want.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter for you because
do we have to decide to use it before or after we know how many successes?
You have to decide before, I think it said.
Yeah, let's have a quick look.
Okay.
I got an exceptional success.
So did I.
I did not.
Yeah,
sorry, boys.
Yeah, you choose it on the roll. You choose whether you want to use it or not, and then if you get 3 successes, it's exceptional. You get the point willpower back anyway, I think, and the condition resolves, so you get the beat.
Oh. Okay. So, I'm sorry. Just to double back, there was a different condition I had that they didn't.
Symbolic focus. You have your honorary rank is increased by 1, and you get an exceptional success dealing with spirits on 3 rather than 5 successes. When you do get an exceptional success, it then resolves. So you don't have to choose; it's just there. Yeah, because you're powered up by the sheer energy of the rite you've conducted. The storm crack. You can feel the power of the storm occasionally rolling overhead. It's in your blood and in your bones.
Okay.
So we had 2 exceptional successes with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 4 beats because you're on the hunt for the prey. You sniff around the edges of the farm briefly. You do a bit of a recce before you go in, and the smells immediately light up in your mind as a cascade of information comes in. Firstly, there are a number of human staff who, you're not sure, some of them, at least a couple of them live here, but some of them obviously come in here to work. probably customers as well, haulers, general labourers, all that kind of thing. So there's a group of humans. Most of them leave at night. You're pretty sure from the smells and the smells of vehicles leaving. So the human presence is probably quite low. You can now ID those scents. The ones that stay are both women. You think they are both in good health. That kind of thing is kind of from the smells, very fresh. That's not so much the issue. The other things you're picking up. Firstly, you can pick up a scent on the breeze.
I'm sorry, I gotta be right back.
Oh, okay. I'll carry on with the description for now for you two, and because it's mostly information that won't need to be repeated. There's a scent on the breeze that matches the sickly, sweet, spoiled smell of the head that you have. It's faint, but it's on the air. That tree is here somewhere.
Okay.
There are other scents that are concerning. There are 3 distinct scents that are human. One of them doesn't seem to come near the edge of the farm, but the other 2 do. And while these scents are human, they also smell unpleasantly of other things. One of them smells of smoke, soot, and burned bone. The other smells of something like, the best description is putting intent bad breath and a bit of blood. Far beyond what you'd expect from a human. The third one, who doesn't come near the edge, is a faint smell that is... He smells a lot. They smell a lot of rotting apples. Now, there shouldn't be a lot of rotting apples around this time of year, but they really smell of it. And the last concerning smell you've picked up is wolf. The wolf smell, you can't tell if it's werewolf or not, but there aren't any wolves running around, any natural wolves running around Dorset. The smell is weeks old, but not more than a month. It's not the smell of Great Aunt Clarice. Somebody else. 2 somebodies else, you think. And they appear to be have been marking the edge of the territory here. Or marking, like, as if they were going around the edge of the farm and leaving scent. So that's the exceptional success kaboom of information from your just sniffing around. While we wait for Pete to get back, he may be having this may be a phone call he told us he was going to have earlier. Should we see? Is anyone in the chat at all?
Yeah,
Dan?
let's take a look. Does anybody in chat have any questions about what's going on or how some of these rolls are being made?
If they don't, that's fine. We can just blather on. But yeah, we're having a short gap here, and when Pete's back, we will crack on again. But this isn't an unplanned,
isn't it?
Sorry.
It's time for a word from our sponsors, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yes. Copious amounts of tea.
Sure. I'm just taking a look at my gifts here so that I know I'm prepared.
Yeah, that's the point. Keith, what did you end up taking? You had Primal Strength, the strength boost. What was your other gift you took?
Gifties. I took Grasp of Howling Winds and Primal Strength.
Right, Grasp of Howling Winds. I wasn't sure which one it was you plumped for in the end.
I don't remember what that does, though.
It's the one that lets you target, howl the winds at a target to kind of... it's a big speed and dice pool debuff on somebody. As they
it keeps them from getting away.
Yeah, they have to move out of your... If they can get out of your line of sight and get behind something, they're fine. But until they do, they take a penalty to pretty much...
All right.
One dice pool at that speed.
So Chris, I know in First Ed, and maybe this is a good housekeeping moment, in First Ed, I know, like, if at certain primal urges, you could only use 1 essence per turn. Yeah. If a gift requires 2 to activate, it means it takes 2 turns to activate for now?
Yes, that's correct, yeah. You have to spend 2 turns powering it up.
Okay.
So I do have a question for you, Chris. Mm-hmm. This may be a little gamey, maybe a little bit gaming the system here, but
okay.
Because I told my stirring tale as a Kahilith before we left, we all have inspired, right?
Yes.
Can I cash that in for the use of a gift?
How so?
So to give myself the ability to roll an exceptional success on 3 successes.
Oh yeah, you can choose when you make a dice pool. When you make a dice activation roll for a gift, if it's related to the thing you got the inspiration over, the purpose of it, then you can, yes.
Okay.
So, for example, if it's relating to this hunt of this prey you're after, then you can say, "I am using inspired." Make the roll, and if you get 3 successes, it's an exceptional. Yeah,
All
you
right.
can do that.
So one thing I'm planning to doing when combat starts, I'm gonna
Mhm.
actually be using my inspiration to
Mm-hmm.
roll and use Warhowl. And Warhowl, if you get an exceptional success, I get inspired. So it'll almost be recycling it. I'll still have it, but we'll nail an exceptional
Yes,
success.
no, you can do it. Yeah, obviously, if you don't roll an exceptional success,
Sure.
you've lost the inspired and you haven't got anyone. But yeah, that's a perfectly valid way to do it. It is legitimate to build a character who is based around giving loads of beats for everybody and being really inspired all the time, because that's kind of what Cahalith are.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Also, just about action economy, I don't think that... Oh, did he walk away? He may have walked away for a second.
No, I'm still here.
you still here?
I'm actually just. Sorry, I have my rule book is laid out down there, and I'm just checking stuff. I can hear you, so.
Sure. So I know that in first edition there was something about only being able to use the 1 gift per turn. Is that still?
No, if you have the essence, if you have the essence per turn available, you can use as many gifts as you want. You just have to be able to pay for them.
Sure,
which is why
sure.
with Grasp of Howling Winds, it would take Jack 2 turns to power up and fire it off, because he's only got Primal Urge 1, so he's only got 1 per turn. But if he had Primal Urge, I think it's 2 gives you 2 per turn. Then, for instance, he could go on 1 turn. He could activate Killer Instinct and activate Primal Strength.
Okay, and still make an attack and do whatever else you want.
Oh yeah, because those are both reflexive to use if you have the essence. The real limitation on a lot of a lot of the power up gifts that werewolves have, often the limitation is if you're caught in combat unexpectedly, you may not be able to actually easily activate them all very quickly. If you have a chance to prepare, of course, that's not really an issue.
Why did I not take that?
Here's another question that people might be interested in. Can you dovetail merits and gifts? Meaning I have Warhowl, right? I howl, I inspire my packmates. They get +1 lethal rating on their brawl and weaponry attacks for the duration of the facet, which is a turn per success. I also have a merit. The merit is called Warcry, which is a merit that lets you howl and shake the prey, lowering their defense, attack rolls, and initiative. Could I, quote unquote, in a single howl, even though they're separate actions, could I in a single howl sort of activate both things for flavor purposes?
Not if the howl. If it depends what the merit says. If it's an instant action to use it, then no.
Okay.
If it's reflexive, then yeah, you can combine the 2 into 1 howl, no problem.
Sure.
If it's instant, they will be separate turns things. So just to update, Pete, we were just doing some general chatter about like covering some ideas what gifts and some combat stuff works. The information you got, very brief rundown, the information you got from the exceptional successes. Firstly, you can smell the scent of the tree in its heads here, definitely on the breeze, it's somewhere here. Secondly, as well as the humans, there's only a couple of them left who stay here. There are 3 humans who 2 of whom come to the edge, 1 of whom doesn't, but you can smell anyway. One of whom smells greatly of smoke and burned bone. 1 of whom smells of intense sort of bad breath and blood, and 1 of whom smells, the one who doesn't come to the edge, of rotting apples, which is a very odd smell this time of year. And finally, you can smell wolves, probably werewolves, because there aren't any other wolves running around Dorset. Weeks old, but less than a month. 2 of them around the edges as if they were marking the territory here. Not been here for weeks, you don't think? Probably aren't here now.
So, my first instinct here, boys, is to howl a challenge to the wolves. Because we're about to walk on somebody else's territory, and if they're friendlies, I don't want to piss in their Cheerios if they just haven't been able to deal with the tree yet. And if they're not friendly, I want to piss their Cheerios way off.
You did get exceptional, so you'll easily... It doesn't take you long to find, scratched in one of the posts around the main entrance of the farm. Most of it's hedges, but around the main entrance there's some actual fencing. And scratched into one of the posts where one of them's always rubbing up against it, leaving a smell, are some first tongue runes, which is the first tongue. The name is harvestmen, and the pack sign is well, the underneath it is a tribe marker for the Predator Kings.
Right. Dan, you know my prejudices. I want to challenge them right here and now. No covert shit. I want to rip them apart. They're harvesting this tree. They're keeping this tree alive.
Here's the problem.
You know I hate Predator Kings.
You're going to kill our sacred hunt is the problem.
Yeah, they're not your...
Wouldn't they be guarded? But they're guarding the tree. Like,
no, this is just their territory.
They may be letting the tree do its thing.
Yep.
The scent of them here is weeks old. You don't think they're here.
Got it. Okay, so it's not like they're harvesting the tree and they're helping the tree. They were just, the tree is in what they've decided is their territory.
But what their interaction is with the tree, you don't know, but they don't seem to be here at the moment, you don't think.
Okay.
Unless they are specifically hiding and masking their scent, which is possible. But,
right.
Yeah.
All right, then I take that back.
Okay.
So the one that smells of burned bone, I wonder if they have something, that human has something to do with the ant, but that's one of the 3 who leave every day, right?
No, the 3 weird smellers are 3 additional ones who don't leave ever, and the burned bone and the bad breath come to the edge of the property sometimes, but the rotting apples never does.
Well, the rotting apples probably is the one that stays closest to the tree.
Do we see them, or are they?
No, these are just smells. You are picking them up even under the wash of the rain because their smells are quite fresh, and they are here. You are pretty sure they are in the orchard somewhere or in the ground somewhere.
Got it.
They are not the 2 humans who just stay here, probably because they might live in the farmhouse, for example. But
Okay.
Stealth mode.
Yes, for now, I'd say we sneak up on this thing. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, can I make use of my specialty in stalking, or no?
You can. What skill is it in?
Stealth.
Okay. So you want to stealthily enter the orchards now, and so what's your plan? Are you just sniffing around for the scents to become stronger and then planning to follow them? Or do you have a plan for how you're going to search the place beyond just follow the smells? Follow the smells is completely valid. I just want to know if there's anything else I need to take.
I think maybe finding one of the humans and questioning, or at least
I was gonna say, unless we have an idea of where the domiciles are.
You can see where the farmhouse is, yeah, and there's other outbuildings around, but the farmhouse is there. A few lights are still on, and it's the center of. It will be the center of most daily activity. Obviously, it's late in the evening now, but there are obviously people still up there as well.
So I'm thinking if we move closer to that, we might be able to get a better read on things, and then if they're still out in the fields, trace them from there.
Okay.
Boys, any objections?
I'm good with that. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, we might want to potentially eliminate the threat of humans intervening, cull the herd as it were.
I can.
So what do you think? Kill everybody in the farmhouse?
I wouldn't say everybody, but the ones with the strange tainted smells.
Well, right. We're tracking them down. We're just trying to come up with a plan of the best way of doing that. And I know I'm not infallible as an alpha, so I'm asking my tracker and my wise man what they feel the best plan of action might be.
I have a gift that can isolate them one at a time.
Okay.
Assuming they're separate.
So I think that's what we should do, honestly. I think that the idea of questioning them, I doubt they're going to be particularly helpful if they're sworn to this claim thing, but I think if we give them a chance to talk, they're going to try to scream and alert the others. I think the answer is this is a spec
Take them out
ops
quietly.
strike, and we're going to eliminate the threats and then take the... although, I don't know if the claimed has a link to them and we'll know if we've killed them is the other thing.
But you know what? I think we're better, even if they do, we're now not dealing with the claimed plus 3 claimed humans. We're just dealing with the claimed. The claimed are done.
All right, so why don't we find them? We'll sniff them out. We'll see if it seems, once we're closer, we'll see if it seems like there's any spiritual...
All right, Johnny, you said you could isolate them more so with their scent?
What I mean is, if we can find them, I can actually lure them out into kind of like a little kill zone type deal. Assuming I get lucky on my rolls.
Yeah, I think we should
Okay.
do that. So why don't we go after the one that smells like the rotting apples first? He seems like he has the most to do with the tree.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I was Chris, I do have a question about. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. Just had a drink of water and it went down the wrong way. So primal strength lasts a scene, right? And I'm not again, like Dan said before, I'm not trying to game the system here. If I activate it now, will it last for our duration on the orchard? Like, is the orchard going to be considered a scene?
The orchard may be more than one scene. So if you activate it now, it will definitely cover the scene of you searching across the place. If you if you run into something hostile randomly, but it depending on how long it takes, it may be that say you find the tree that get there, that transitioning there might be more than one scene depending on what happens on the way. It does mean that if you run into a fight while you're searching, you will have it up and ready. If that fight isn't the tree, then
right. But being so maybe the better question is its action is reflexive. It means I can use it the second combat starts. I don't have to preempt it.
Yes, although it is your one primal urge per turn.
Right. I mean, the most I'm going to use essence for in an actual combat is to soak some damage.
Yeah, you've also got you can use it to activate Killer Instinct as well.
I don't have Killer Instinct yet.
You do because you're a Rahu. It's the first dot power.
Oh, I just get it.
Yeah, it's the first dot.
It's your full moon gift.
Remember, you've got Warrior's Hide, which adds your purity to your health automatically, which is the 2 dot power, and you've got the first dot power Killer Instinct as well.
Right. Okay, I didn't know that. Why? Where? All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to be stupid for a minute.
Absolutely
Where would I put that on my character sheet?
I don't know.
That would be under gifts and rights. It's going to be your full moon gift. You're going to have 2 dots in your full moon gift because of your renown.
Oh, okay. That's just listed as full moon gift. It doesn't tell me what the facets are.
Correct. You got to actually look that up and know what that is. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I assumed the full moon gift was its own.
Oh, we've lost your visual.
Yeah, we lost your video for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's not big.
There we go.
Sorry, there comes. I hit the wrong.
I've become Jack.
Just to quickly run over your first 2 gifts. Killer Instinct is 1 essence, scene long, reflexive, and it gives you 8 again on your brawl and weaponry attacks.
Right.
And then Warrior's Hide, 2nd dot gift, adds your purity to your health permanently. Which I think you had factored into your health already.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna double check. But,
yep.
Okay. Do you want us to make additional perception rolls or stealth rolls? Rather?
No, I would like stealth rolls. Remember, that's Dex plus stealth. Remember, you are in wolf form, so your Dex is boosted.
Does moving in shadows apply here?
Yes, it is very dark, and there is enough light from around the farmhouse that for the few windows and a few lights are on that you will be able to get shadows for that.
Okay.
So just to check, Keith, are you happy with what you got in terms of understanding the gifts on this?
Yes. Yeah. I didn't realize I made the mistake of thinking I had to take Killer Instinct as a separate facet.
No.
So I was thinking to myself, like, shit, how much is that?
Yeah. No, you get every time you get each one in the moon gift.
I got 4 successes.
I got
too much essence.
I rolled 6 successes. I got an exceptional success.
Jesus. Okay.
Hold on, I gotta roll that.
Add those beats to the pot. Beat pile.
So I have 3 Dex. I have 1 stealth, which gives me 4.
Wolf form increases your Dex.
Well, I'm saying that's with the.
I think he factored it.
Sorry.
That's factored in.
Oh, your Dex is 1 normally, is it, or 2?
Yes.
Is Wolf? Okay.
Jack is a tank, not a.
Right.
Jack.
Okay.
Jack goes, go ahead, hit me again. Not
right. Okay.
Go ahead and try to hit me again. Don't worry. The plan is to move Dex up much later. Later on, because that is very helpful. But right now, it was, hey, let me throw a lot in stamina so I can take the hits, not so I can try to avoid the hits.
Okay.
Yep. So,
because I have a habit of being the main target of everything.
Bill's stealth roll.
I got 4 successes on my stealth roll.
Okay. 6, 4, and how is it looking then for?
What do you think, boys? Willpower, just so I don't screw the pooch right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4
Yeah,
successes
buddy.
with
4
willpower.
successes. Nice. Okay.
Let me just mark that willpower down here.
Yep. Okay.
So something we have, some beat we have right now, or thing we have right now, will give me a willpower back if it works successfully, right?
When you use inspiration, when you use it on the roll, you get exceptional 3 out of 5, and you get a willpower back anyway.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So it's not a. So it's one that I probably will get back.
Yeah.
Yep.
Without waiting.
You just have to remember to call the inspired condition before you.
Right.
Yeah. And it has to be to do with what the Catalyst was inspiring you about, which was going on this hunt. So that's
Correct.
fine for most circumstances here, really, isn't it? You slink down further, following the track down towards the farm itself. A gravel track, heavily marked with the tractor wheels and other heavy vehicles would come down here to pick up the produce of the farm. Towards the cluster of buildings, barns, and outhouses around the farmhouse itself, looking for these smells. Now, you quickly ascertain a few things. Firstly, the 2 humans you smelt, the normal humans who stay on the site at night, are here. One of them is in the farmhouse. You're not sure where, but the other one is there is a woman in her late 20s wearing fairly stereotypical English farmer clothes, welly boots. So there's a certain look. I don't know what the names of the types of clothing are, but I know what they look like anyway. So there's a certain sort of not rugged outdoors look, but she is clearing. She's in one of the outhouses nearby the farm, basically organising some gear, organising some of the farming implement machinery. Even though it's this late, she doesn't seem very alert or awake. And when you pad past in the darkness, hiding from the lights that are in that barn, she doesn't pay you the slightest bit of heed. And you're able to discern those 2 seem to be normal human beings. There's nothing odd about them, nothing evident anyway. There are a few spirits floating around, but not a great number. Spirits of darkness, it being night, flittering dark things, or skulking inky entities flowing away and away from you. They seem to like being sensed or noticed in general. And a few other minor things. Not a great deal of presence here. You are certain for too long that while the smells of the humans in general spread out, as you'd expect from workers in a farm, the 3 weirdos focus in a particular direction into the orchards. The wolf smells have mostly faded off. If they've been in the farm itself in the past month, it's barely noticeable. They were definitely around the edges, but they may one of them may have come in briefly, but nothing major. Okay. And the rain is making this a bit trickier to track at this point, splashing down around you, especially on the concrete surfaces around the barns and things. Ground. There is another odd smell. I don't know if this is something that Americans have like a different name for them. Do you know what I mean if I say a hare, right? And not a hair on your head, I mean like a rabbit and a hare.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So hares, you've picked up scent occasionally since you turned up. They are a wild animal here. There are quite a strong smell of hares around this place.
So when you say hares, I just want to make sure I'm not making a misassumption here. Are we talking like jackrabbits, like the larger,
the
wild
big rabbit-like things? Yeah.
More like a domesticated hare.
Not domesticated, wild.
Okay, so like a jackrabbit, the bigger ones that tend to fight each other and kick each other.
Yeah, especially in spring. Then from Mad as March hare.
And that's exactly why I want to make a difference, because one will be a little bit more of a fluffy, fun to deal with spirit, and the other one I'm probably going to get kicked in the face.
Yeah. So you are, as you're poking around, you are picking up the scent. The direction the scent of the 3 weird people is also slightly stronger smell of the heads, the similar smell to the heads that you think is the smell of the tree, into the orchards proper. But the smell of the hares is also increasing, and at one point you see just darting across field. Again, hares I don't think are particularly nocturnal creatures, but yet you see a hare racing across one of the fallow areas of small field near the farm itself, which might be kept for some animals or something. You see blinking across, and under a gate in a way is a hare in the middle of the night.
Is it reacting to us like it's running from us?
You are pretty sure. You're pretty sure you've been stealthy enough that it's not reacting to you. And Johnny, with your exceptional success on the stealth, you're sort of scouting around a little bit ahead because you are the Iraqer. It's natural to peel off and fold around. You are certain. You see another hare. You're certain that neither of these hares have been alerted by the pack.
Okay.
Your exceptional success bonus is you are pretty sure these hares are following a pattern. Their behavior is not natural.
Mm-hmm.
They appear to be, well, if they weren't hares, you'd go, they appear to be patrolling.
All right, I'm gonna double back and come to my pack since I went up a little bit ahead of them. And we're in Urhan form, so first tongue is right out, right?
Nope, first tongue is doable in Urhan. It's a bit it's a bit hard to do complexities and nuance, but you can do a first tongue in Urhan.
So basically, really simple then. Hares trolling pattern, like breaking down the 3 most important aspects that I noticed.
Pete, just think, how would Monrock say it?
Yeah, and that's how you would do it.
Thornbreaker just nods in understanding, keeps moving low to the ground through the.
Oh, Chris, I also have the fading gift, so every time they fail to notice me, they get a cumulative -1 penalty in the same scene.
Yep. Okay. Then yeah, and you're more confident even that they have not seen your scouting. Then, but yes, I will keep note of that. No reaction from the patrolling hares thus far. Why they are patrolling, you are not sure, but that is definitely what you think is going on here, with a fair degree of certainty.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a trail leading deeper into the orchard, which is where the smells of the weird 3 seem to focus, and the smell of the thing itself. You have patrolling hares. You are with those stealth rolls. You're confident in your ability to get past the hares. So if you're happy to, I'm going to move on to sort of sneak.
Yeah, I'm cool with sneaking past the hares.
Okay.
Yep.
And again, with the exception, I'll give you the thing. As you're sneaking past and you're on your scout, Johnny, at one point you see one of the hares stop, and just for a moment, there's an odd phosphorescence around it, like an echo or a suggestion of flame. And then the phosphorescence goes, and there's a glint in its eyes, and then that fades, and then.
Wait a minute. We have the Stormlord Sisker dot. Can I see if there's a spirit coiled?
That is not your target for the.
Oh, it's only the target. Okay, I'm sorry.
However, if it's given hares aren't very big, the spirit would have to be quite small to be hiding inside it. So looking at it, it's possible they're ridden, but doesn't seem. You don't think so.
Okay. The only reason, and Chris, I kind of understand Pete's following is that he was thinking that these things are patrolling and protecting the claimed we're after. Yes, and I didn't know if that would have an effect. I guess maybe we were trying to see if that would have an effect.
No, because it's not the actual prey. But you don't think they're ridden anyway, just from watching them with the time you've had. Okay. And then deeper. As you go into the orchard proper, and among the rows, it's quite spooky. There's these orderly rows of trees. There's a slight bit of, higgledy-piggledy in places, but a lot of this orchard the outer areas seem quite new. Not that new because they're grown trees, but this isn't ancient orchard around the edges. Your hair on the back of your neck goes up, and the haunches go as you sense a change in the air as you're moving through. There are hanging from some of the branches are what look like little charms, little twisted bits of just little sort of folkloric charms, maybe some local quaint fancy. And suddenly those start all jingling in unison among this row of trees ahead of you. And as you look around, there is on the bark of one of the nearby trees, something gunky starts to well up in a pattern, and says in English, turn back. It's very budget horror ghost manifestation stuff. It would probably be spookier if you couldn't see the fear spirit sitting there next to it using the manifestations. There is a spirit in Twilight. It looks like the spirits that Jack saw in town, these dark things with these almost demonic headdresses, with horns and shaggy and big bulging eyes, which lamplights coming forth. And you're pretty sure it noticed you as you were moving forward. It did see you coming, or it sensed you somehow, perhaps. And it slinks between the trees and starts to mark on the trees. And then as it does that, you hear the jingling of these charms, and it scrapes its finger down the bark, and the bark starts to well up in this stuff. There is a spirit attempting to spook you. It's in twilight. You can see it quite clearly.
And it seems to have locked onto us. Like, it definitely knows where we are currently.
Yeah.
Thornbreaker, you're more the spirit dealing guy. I'm more the spirit
Thornbreaker cautiously approaches the spirit and, in a low tone, says, "Why?"
It seems so as you approach, it actually seems to. It obviously sensed someone coming because it's doing this, but when it sees you, it's a fear spirit, so it doesn't exactly jump, but it sees a wolf padding out the shadows, and it shivers weirdly and twists as if it's actually properly seeing this is who is here, and it tilts its head with these lamp-like eyes and tilts them back, and says in a rather confused inflection of first tongue, "Wolves."
Thornbreaker.
I'm staying. I don't know about you, Pete. I'm staying and hiding.
Yeah, yeah. So am I.
I want this thing to think that Bill may be alone right now.
Thornbreaker gives the closest approximation of a
Shrug.
predatory smile in wolf form.
So snarl.
Sort of.
"You are not a harvest man. You are trespassing here." Tilts its head, tilts it back. It sort of swirls. It does. The bottom part of it fades off and down. It sort of swirls round you as if eyeing you.
The
The wolves will come and tear your flesh.
We aren't here for you, spirit.
It sort of narrows its eyes and goes, "You should go. You should leave. Dangers ahead. Yes. Many dangers. Terrible dangers. Things will gnash your flesh away, eat you, devour you, little wolf."
We'll see.
Your deepest fears lie ahead, yes. Grave things. Your worst nightmares. It's scrutinizing you closely as it says this.
What do you know of my nightmares, spirit?
It sort of looks a bit uneasy, backs off slightly. You must have nightmares, all wolves do. Perhaps you have killed people you didn't mean to, yes? Innocent blood on your hands? That's always a good one with wolves.
Thornbreaker's eyes narrow.
Yes, there is something then. Yes, you do fear. Then the spirits of the ones you have slain lie ahead. Yes, you should turn back.
Love it.
Jack stifles a laugh. A wolf laugh.
These big lamp-like shining eyes that make everything else seem dark, looking at you, scrutinizing. No? No fear from that?
I'll tell you a secret, spirit. Mother Luna showed me a vision of this day, and we will be victorious. Perhaps you shouldn't get in our way.
It seems sort of frustrated, like the fact it hasn't driven you off. It shudders and angrily scratches the tree again, and in for the manifestation of smears down the trunk of sap, welling up in a brief image of wolves, like tearing at people, a generic impression of quailing people being torn at by ravenous wolves, and then it sort of settles back.
And then you should scratch a wolf eating a spirit into the tree.
No,
it seems content. Well, not content. It seems upset, but it seems satisfied that its attempt to fend you off has failed, and it's now like it's just a switch has gone off, and it's now like fine.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Thornbreaker in sort of momentary, not frustration, but like that very like amped up adrenaline, because that's sort of where we are right now as wolves. Just sort of snaps at the air for a moment quietly, and then turns and continues ahead in the orchard.
Are the other two following them?
Yep.
Yeah.
As you move down, Trini trying to keep stealthy, it catches the scent of one of you, or something about one of you, and it goes, "Aha!" And it starts with all the manifestations again. And when it sees you, it goes, "A wolf! Fear, yes. The spirits of the ones you have slain lay ahead. Turn back."
Bugger off.
No?
I'm assuming it's me because I had the lower stealth roll.
And again, as you pass, one thing is, as you pass, there's a point between the trees that it is at. As you pass it, it just completely loses any further interest in you.
He's a ward.
Yes,
Yeah.
can I have an int plus occult roll from anybody who wants to make one?
Sure.
I will make one.
I'll give it a shot. Jack likes the occult.
Rolled a success.
Same here. 1 success.
3 successes from me.
Okay. You are all pretty sure this spirit has been bound here to ward off people who shouldn't be here. So it's literally it's just haunting people who come through. It wasn't obviously expecting a bunch of werewolves to come through, and it's clearly been told to use its power to scare off people. It doesn't have a lot it can do to you if it's not willing to actually attack you, and it doesn't seem to have been bound to attack anybody. So this is, and it's not an early warning system. You think the hares might be that. This is just this is a get rid of pesky mortals setup. You've seen werewolves who probably, or your allies, using stuff like this.
Okay.
The fear spirit's done its job now. It would like to terrify and scare you, but it doesn't have a lot of opportunity to do, and it's obviously not very powerful. It doesn't seem, given depending on how it was bound, it may be also that it can't leave here to go running off and do other stuff, so it's stuck here anyway.
Okay.
As you move away, though, it does stop, and it just turns. The head turns. The body stays there. The head just turns towards you, and it says in a slightly different tone of voice, more like it's no longer trying. This is not a "I am doing my job," but more in a slightly personal sense of amusement. But you can tell the collar, Pexy. I did warn you.
The color pixie?
Something like that. And then it just turns back to the.
No. I couldn't really hear what you said. Well,
it's a word. It's a word you haven't come. It's not first tongue.
Okay.
The smell of the 3 is growing stronger. You are now in an area that the rotting apples one does go to. And as you pierce deeper into the orchard, the nature of the orchard is changing. You pass briefly, you move away from there's an area where regular fields pierce a bit into it, and you can see the dull shape of a combine harvester sleeping in the field, the metal and the machinery. Past that, you're going into an older part of the orchard, past the hedgerows with snuffling animals and the deep scent of rotting leaf litter and fungus. Much more fungus here as you move deeper. This is older orchard, and while it still maintains a strong semblance of orderly tree planting, it is still a bit more rough around the edges. A few more not in places, a few more gaps. And you soon find boot prints. Obviously, plenty of which are human, but there are some which smell strongly of ash and soot, that smell in particular. And now you smell it. Now, a bit of the hair smell to it as well. The smell of hairs is slightly marked with this. This person has been walking back and forth. Boot size, probably a woman of sort of boot size and weight. The smell of the flame makes it hard to tell otherwise from the scent, but other than human. But yeah, definitely that. Gait, she was moving quite fast, the way the boot prints are positioned. This was not a slow wander, like almost maybe running, but very light-footed. The bad breath smell, you soon enough find something associated with it. You find one of the trees, it looks like someone's tried to chew on one of the trees, but rather than like a deer or something coming on, like nibbling at the bark, like someone with powerful jaws came and just gnashed at it and left a number of teeth embedded in it. There are human teeth sunk into very recently, within the last few days, sunk into the bark of this tree. Some obviously pulled loose. They've been mostly picked clean by insects, but the smell, this bad breath smell, is roiling off them.
Rotting teeth.
They are now, certainly, and they were not in good condition beforehand. But it seems
right. No, I'm just like I'm thinking in my head, like the smell of rotting teeth is that bad breath smell.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The scents are growing stronger. The orchard is growing older. As you go past there's an area where there's not a hedge between two sections. There's an old wall, and it's old ash wall. The stones are sort of piled in the way they do that. They fit together very nicely, but they're not crafted to do that. They just choose the right shapes of stone. And here, around the gate, it's almost bits of the wall tumbled away. And when you cross that threshold, into one of the really old bits of the oldest centre of the orchard, there is an immediate shift in the air. And a smell assails your nostrils. A new one. It wasn't there moments ago. It smells of matted animal fur, horse almost. It smells of trees and apples. Blood, animal breath, something big, hot, heavy. And you can hear it. Suddenly, as if round a corner from nowhere, this breath and the stomp of something heavy and the crunching of leaf litter underfoot.
Would a perception check key us into maybe more about the animal?
Yes, perception checks are absolutely a thing to use here. I'm just going to roll it.
All right, just checking. Perception is...
okay. 4 successes, which is an exceptional success for me.
It's an exceptional success if you succeed on the thing in question. This is an opposed roll in this case.
Oh.
So
3.
what? 3.
Fuck.
Mine didn't roll for some reason. Hold on.
Okay.
No, it came back. You rolled 1 success, it says.
Okay,
Yeah,
didn't show up on mine for some
You're
reason.
just above me, just below.
Oh, there you are.
Johnny.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You sniff around and you look around and you listen, trying to keep track of where the hell this thing is. You can't. It is moving through the orchard, but you are not. You are having a hell of a time keeping track. It's echoing around. The smells are shifting. They don't seem to match to anything you know. But there's something big here. It's absurd. You can't see it. You can hear the crunch and the leaning of about something heavy brushing against a tree. And then you look over there and it's just not there.
I'm going to try to extend my my sense of smell across the gauntlet.
Okay. So the smell of the gauntlet here is rich with life, fungus, trees, rot, crazy. It doesn't smell like there's not the putridity of the tree of heads over there. I mean, this place must be pretty crazily overgrown in the shadow. There is also the lingering, now fading smell of the smell you are sensing in the orchard. Something probably just gauntlet breached across.
Okay.
It was in the shadow until moments ago. You entered the orchard and it gauntlet breached across.
Gotcha.
Got it.
All right, I bring my sack back to the fallen.
So, all right, I'm gonna look at Johnny. Keep tracking, and then I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna kind of move backwards almost, as you know, or sideways, if you will, watching the rear because we can't get a pin on where this thing is.
So, are you sending the Iraka in to find whatever this is?
Well, we're kind of moving forward as a group. I'm not sending him.
You are going to move forward as a group.
Yeah.
So you are.
Yeah.
He's telling me to just keep my eyes peeled.
I'm watching our flank to make sure whatever
it is behind us. To try and hide from this, or are you just going to try and hustle through?
Well, that's a good point.
I'd say hide.
Yeah,
hiding would probably be a good idea.
Okay, it's stealth rolls then, opposed by its attempt to perceive.
I'm going to throw a willpower on top of this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 3.
I give up.
I got 1 success.
What'd you get?
I rolled 13 dice and only managed 2 successes.
Wow, okay.
I got 3 on mine.
You move into the orchard, and you're partway through this older band heading towards the heart of the Red Orchard, when the shifting noises change in timber. Like, it's sort of crunching around, moving, and then it stops, and you think, oh, shit, it's found us, or it's sensed us. And the next thing that you notice, impossibly, from round a tree that is not wide enough to hide its bulk, something looms round in front of you. The thing has the heads, multiple, of something like horses, but horses of, frankly, horrifying and slightly abstract design. They're big. They speak of something predatory rather than something herbivorous. Although they are horses' heads, wild, rolling, flaming eyes. Not literally flaming, sort of the kind of slightly glowing. The body is slightly humanoid. It's standing up, 2 massive, powerful rear legs with hooves, the front arms with human-like hands, but it's covered in long, shaggy hair. And it smells strongly. The reek is coming from apple trees and apples and beasts. The teeth are not horses' teeth. They are far sharper than that. And it is marked with strange signs, and it's almost branded into its hide in first tongue. And hanging off it, like adornments, are tablets of stone and bronze, crude things hanging off on chains that shiver and shift slightly, almost like not armor exactly, but like a decoration, very crude, primitive decoration hanging off.
Okay.
And a necklace of. Do you know what hagstones are?
No, but I can look it
in a
up.
second.
Hagstones are they are little stones with a hole in them. That's all they are, and they traditionally folkloric they are meant considered to have magic power. And it has a big necklace of big chunky hagstones, big smooth stones with holes in them hanging off the neck. It is about size. It's size 8. So it is clearing 10 foot tall. Probably more close to. Yeah, it is clearing 10 foot tall and massively built, and it just leans around the tree, and the eyes roll and see you. Oh wow!
Sorry about that.
Someone's got a phone call on.
Yep, it's all right. We're good.
Appropriate, though.
Yes, the music kicks off.
Battle music.
Instinctively activate primal strength.
Okay, spend a point of essence. It leans around and says in first tongue, "Found ya." So. What are your reactions? Are you going to engage this thing in negotiation, or are you going to go for combat?
Again, I lean to Bill when it comes into things of negotiation and what have you. He's my wise man.
So,
if he thinks this is worth negotiating, we'll negotiate. And if not, I'm switching and ripping.
As this thing leans around the tree, instinctively Thornbreaker sort of gets low to the ground. Haunches go up. But he resists the instinct to sort of bolt or fight. And he says, again, he reiterates, "We aren't here for you, spirit."
It steps up behind the tree, revealing its full bulk, that there is no way it could hide behind that tree. And when it does so, it does an odd little caper and jig with its feet. For something so massive, it's quite light on its feet. And there's also it just doesn't. It's looming, it's scary, it's intimidating. But the horse heads smirk and smile as the thing digs. It's not quite the personality you expect from this massive spirit.
Yeah, it seems sort of playful and mischievous, almost like it's a game of hide and seek.
You're on my orchard, so you're here for me. I am the Colopexy. Why are you here? Scrumping for apples? Apple thieves? We don't like apple thieves around here. And sort of gives a, the hand and fist kind of thing, as if to emphasize the threat. Anything to say for yourselves?
Bill, if you've got something you want to say, go for it. If not, I have something I'd like to say. But again, I'm deferring to you when dealing with spirits because you're the more talking person.
Sure.
It's actually largely looking at Jack mostly because you're the one with symbolic focus, so you get spirit's attention.
So Thornbreaker will, noticing that it's looking towards Jack, he'll turn to Jack in a way that suggests if he has something to say, he can speak up.
We are not here to steal apples. We are here to help you with the rotting tree.
Don't need help with no rotting tree.
Well, it seems to be there's a tree here that produces strange fruit.
Orchards often produce strange fruit. I have no problem with it. You've come onto my orchard uninvited.
Chris, does this spirit have the smell of the heads that we were? No, it doesn't. Yeah.
You think this might be the orchard spirit?
Okay.
Why it's taking this form, you don't know, but you think it might possibly be the orchard, or some sort of it's a spirit associated with the orchard somehow. Anyway. You're here to steal my apples or steal my trees. It's all one and the same to me. Thieves, wolfy little thieves. I don't like thieves. Human or dog, much the same.
As I said, we're not here to steal apples.
Ah, so you say, but you're in an orchard. Sounds like you want to steal this rotting tree you're so het up about.
No.
You have humans here that are also destroying the trees by biting on them.
Shakes his hand. Yeah, that one's an idiot. I don't care about that one. It helps tend to the trees, after all.
There was an old wolf who used to come around here.
Maybe.
Can you tell us what sort of deal she had with you, Spirit?
I would be forbidden to say on any such deal I made with the old silver wolf. Not that I've made any deals with it anyway, so I'm not forbidden to say anything.
Does
But
blood
that
apply?
one was... Sorry?
Does blood apply? Like, can you share information with blood relatives is my point.
It leans in close to you. It gives a big smell. And you get this horsey, rotting air, earthy, tree mix smell over you as it does so, looming. And it's it might. She's one who's cared for such things. But like I said, thankfully, I never made any deals with her.
Was she a thief?
She made deals with others.
Was she a thief? Did she steal your apples?
No, of course not. Orchards produce to be taken, precious fruit full of life and potential. The purpose is to harvest it. Not everyone who takes apples is a thief. Unlike you, dogs. You're clearly thieves.
How about we pay you for the apples? I offer it some essence as payment for apples for her to leave us alone.
So you're willing to soothe my injured, myself as the injured party. You're willing to pay for your crimes and transgressing them. I'd be willing to entertain. Well, let's not call it a bribe. I'd be willing to entertain a price. That sweetener you offer is a sweetener, just a starter. I have a further price than that, but I'll take the precious stuff too, if you offer it. Yes. You want to do right? You smell strange. You smell of the old Silver Wolf's land. Do you hold it now?
We do.
Then give me a little part of it, a little segment, a tiny little piece of earth. It reaches over to one of the nearby trees and grabs one of the branches, a small one, and rips it off. This thing is very much physically manifested. And as it does, the end starts to sprout with greenery, almost fresh growth from the bits ripped off. And it thrusts it at you and goes, bring a little orchard to your land. Take these, splice them. You'll have apples of your own, so you won't need to come and steal mine, although these will be mine too, but I'll let you have the apples.
Very well. Are there spirits tied to these saplings?
You can't. No, there's nothing. There's no spirits attached to it.
Okay.
You think it will probably give the spirit some sort of influence or power over, symbolically at the very least. Willing to make that deal?
As long as you treat intruders there the same as you treated us.
Yeah. Then take it. And I'll take the essence too. And that'll pay you to travel and have a few apples if you wish.
Okay.
I have a counter offer. We will plant your trees and provide you safe passage in our territory, in the area in which we've planted your trees. You may come and go as you please, and we will not interfere. However, we will still also help protect and patrol that area. Call it a mutual agreement.
Give me a presence plus persuasion, probably. Roll.
Oh, I actually have some presents.
Yep. You will have willpower too.
Yep, we're going to be using it. Ugh, I'm burning through willpower today. 4.
Oh,
wow,
should use the inspired condition.
Yeah, well, you can use. He's got symbolic focus, so that is an exceptional success.
Nice.
So let me pop in. That is this is progress towards the hunt as well. So I'll give you that.
Dude, I was ready to have a heart attack.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
So you say and you're like, am I about to get pulped by a 10-foot tall, 3-headed horse monster? And it smiles and goes, agreed. And it looks to Johnny, who was one offering essence, goes, shall we seal this pact?
Very well.
And Johnny, just a side note for me, how are you doing on essence? Because I know you've paid a couple out here and there.
Down to 5. Wait, how much essence do you start with, Chris? Is my question. 7? I'm down to 5.
Okay. It reaches out to you it reaches out to kind of like, not in a force whip, and a kind of, are you accepting that I take essence from you?
Yeah, I hold out a paw, I guess.
And it ignores the paw. It reaches just past your head, and in a way I can only describe it as like a cheap street magician, flicks the hand, and there's an apple from behind your ear. It tosses it up, crunches it. You lose a point of essence. Crunches it down, and then drops the sprigs, the saplings for the sprigs of the tree for the cuttings, and does a little jig and vanishes behind the tree again, and it's gone.
All right. I don't want to walk around with an apple branch in my mouth the entire time. Can I shift? Yeah. Can I shift to Ishu, pick it up, and then shift back to Urhan?
Yes,
to have it
your harmonies allows you to do that. Yeah.
So
they're only like little sprigs. They're meant to be, you cut them onto a tree to do the thing.
Yeah, I just don't want to walk around with them in my mouth.
Now your experience as well is spirits come in a very wide variety of forms and shapes, but there are certain laws and rules they tend to follow. You've mostly got at least one dot of occult, haven't you?
I have 3.
I have 2.
Yeah. Okay. So this is fun to know. The nature and shape of this spirit, which may well be an orchard spirit, the Colopexy, the fact it looks so weird and it acts somewhat weirdly, implies that it is heavily. So things like that tend to act that way because they're heavily ingrained in a local tradition, folklore belief, or sometimes vice versa. Areas have some spirits tend to act quite uniquely for that area. This is the chances are, if you go to other orchards around the place in this area, you may encounter other spirits like that one that will probably model the same general pattern.
Okay.
Chris, real quick, I know I have the forget the condition here that just helped me out on this one.
Symbolic focus.
Symbolic focus. So now
that's resolved?
That's resolved.
Yep.
Okay, and I get a willpower back for that?
No, that one gives you a boost to your symbolic rank while you have it running, but it's just gone now. Yeah. You still haven't inspired. You got so showered with conditions that
it's hard to keep track of.
I wasn't sure which one resolved now because I have put inspired down here or inspired.
Okay.
You've still got inspired.
Okay. All right. So
and with that, the spirit is simply gone back through the shadow.
Yeah, it leaves us to our business. So I'm going to pick up the tree's scent again and start moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
The scent of the 3 gets much more tangled here because they move around a lot more. And as you head to the center of the orchard, you checked this on Google Maps, Johnny, when you were checking. The center of the orchard does not map to what you saw from overhead anymore. There are more old walls, and the trees are increasingly higgledy-piggledy. You pass a few very tumble-down old outbuildings. Something odd here going on here. You're not in the shadow. You're very much in the flesh still, but there's something very strange about the place.
Okay. Chris, just for my knowledge, is Primal Strength still active, or have we moved to Lucy?
It is currently still active.
Okay.
Quick question. No, we can't get. We're not in my synchrotron condition, so I can't get a sense of the gauntlet. Never mind.
Yeah, you're pretty sure from when you were pushing your sensors across the gauntlet, it's probably quite thin, but it is still there.
So, with my 2 dots of occult, can I make a roll to see if the gauntlet is sufficiently thin enough, if the physical can start behaving like the shadow?
Give me an int plus occult roll. We'll see.
4 successes.
4 successes. Okay. You are okay. What's going on here isn't a shadow bleed through like that. The gauntlet is thin. There is probably a locus in the general area here. You would expect. You think there probably is going to be one in this orchard. But the strangeness that's welling through, it's it's a bit like the shadow, but it's something different. And it's you're in a weird place, but
Okay.
it's not the shadow. It is still in the flesh, but something is
Some phenomenon is
playing
causing
silly
this,
buggers.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will ask for perception checks again at this point because you've moved right into the central area, and this is therefore going to just determine the state of play of how much you know of where the various actors involved in this are.
3 successes.
Okay, that's 2 more beats. Christ.
Oh, hold on.
3 successes from me.
Okay, that's
Hold
not
on. I
very
need to roll 3 more dice.
Okay.
3 successes for me also.
Okay, the threes, one of them's an exceptional, so we'll get the thing. So 3, first off, tracking them. I need to make some rolls myself quickly. I forgot I should make those rolls. Okay, so then I'll re-roll very well. You are in the heart of the orchard. It's old. It's older than anything was on Google Maps. It doesn't follow the same mapping. You're not quite sure what's going on here, but something appears to be off. Johnny, you have nature. Do you have knotted paths or nature's lure? I can't remember.
I have nature's lore.
Okay. You've probably been taught about knotted paths as an aspect. Something actually a bit like that is going on here. Something. It's not so much. Yeah. Something's almost. The paths through this place don't quite follow the way they should. Space. The reality here is cupped in on itself. You're not sure that if you run in a straight line, you will actually go in a straight line.
Okay.
Now, you are following the scents of the people you're trying to track, which is probably the main reason why you've been able to walk in here and get here without finding yourself just turned around and back out again.
Right.
All right, speaking of, can I make a tracking roll?
That's part of what the perception check was for in this case.
Okay.
You have tracked the 3 are all here in this area. Okay, they are all active in this area. Within the last hour or so, you're getting the smells of them around. You can smell the tree, and it is very strong. It is over there. There is now a strong, succulent, sickly, sweet smell of apples and spoiled human flesh. Johnny, with your exceptional, the one who smells of rotting apples is at the tree. The one who smells of smoke and fire is at the tree. The one who smells of incredibly bad breath is over there-ish somewhere.
I was waiting for you to say right behind you.
Okay.
Not right behind you. You don't think they've clued into your presence. You got past the hares without being detected. The fear spirit was there to drive people off, not to alert anybody. And you made a deal with the Colopexy, so it's not gone running off to tell anybody.
So, Thornbreaker has smelt this also?
Once Johnny then points out the smells, everyone's able to pick
sure.
it up. But his exceptional gave him the specifics.
So, Thornbreaker says, "Bad breath, idiot. Focus tree."
I nod in agreement.
Okay, so you're going to focus on moving towards the tree then. As you approach, they're not making any real attempt to be stealthy at this point either, because they presumably don't know you're here. You can hear from the direction that you nailed down as bad breath, you hear a slight scraping noise. It sounds like metal on wood, perhaps? Not quite sure. Ahead, near the tree, you can hear the slight hum of electrics, which you probably weren't expecting, a smell of something cooking, something meaty, the stink of the tree, this vile smell of the actual tree itself. Over the background, the smell of rain pattering down, and even with that, there's a roll of thunder, but the storm is still quietly grumbling overhead. And you can hear a voice raised in something like a humming song, occasionally mumbling into words. Somewhat feminine voice, but quite deep and powerful. She is humming and mumbling along to herself. and it sounds like she's got. You know how people have a song, right? Where they know one verse in the song, and then they just know the rest of the tune. Yeah. And so she's humming away, and every so often she comes into the full-throated rendition of Saint Wita's bones, and then the name comes as Saint Wita's bones. Apparently, the one bit that she seems to remember the song.
Saint whose bone?
Saint Wita's bones. Smells are solidifying now. That you think as you're approaching, there is among the trees you can see there's light in the trees ahead, artificial light. There is the bloated shape of a tree that is much bigger, broader than the other trees, and the stench of the heads comes from it. Near it, closer, is an outbuilding of some sort from which the electric light is spinning. The ground rises up. You're approaching a hillock, which this big tree is on top of, but there are orchard trees coming up flanks, and so this little outbuilding is partway up. You can smell a bit of human excrement, which is not surprising anywhere that humans, probably a toilet or something. You can smell the smell of meat. It smells like hair meat. Hare and rabbit.
Sure.
Like human meat or
hare meat.
Hare meat. Hares and rabbits.
Okay.
Jackrabbits.
Yeah, and you can smell the singing voice wafting in that direction is that smell of rotting apples. You can hear pacing back and forth near the building is the one who smells of ash. Her footsteps are light, but you can just about pick them out. And further away, now you hear a mumbling grunt of irritation, and from back that way, the bad breath smell. It sounds like someone is using some farming implements to hack or cut at something.
So you said one of them is like separate from the tree and the other human, right?
Bad breath. Bad breath if anyone is off. So this ash smell is that the other two aren't together. One of them's probably in the outbuilding cooking, and the other one's pacing around nearby.
Okay. Can we see the tree yet?
Yes, you can see its faint shape.
I'm going to look at the tree and see if I don't know what role you need to see if I can discern what type of spirit is riding or claiming this tree.
You're getting closer through the darkness and trying to get a good look at it. And as you get close to the trees, it's forming, and it looks like a very old apple tree that has bloated, is the only way to describe it, like it's spilled out from within itself and has continued to do so. So the outer bark has been spelled with almost growths of overload. The smell of flesh reeks from it. It looks horrible. Occasionally it shivers slightly, and you can see, even from this distance, the details are probably going to get worse as you get closer. There are spiritual presence within it from the sacred hunt. The sense of Winterwolf stirs in your blood in revulsion as you see spiritual presences roiling underneath, groaning and shifting. You're seeing at least half a dozen spirits in this one thing. They are woven into it, threaded, torn, bloated, swelling. They're sort of breaking out themselves as well. Each of the spirits is, you don't know if it's in torment, but they do not look good. From this distance, the spirits you can see, there are rotting, decaying, fleshy things. There are also spirits that look far more abstract in it. A large number of them that appear like they are swirling motes of first tongue sigils and glyphs, and sometimes words in English and other languages, stretching out. You think as if marked on human skin, maybe, but that's not always consistent. Every time you look at them, they look slightly different.
Right.
And at the heart of the tree is a fat, like a bloated tick, is this black oozing thing of a spirit with mouths and faces. They look angry, spiteful, pulsing out of it. So it looks like it's almost pupating in the center, and it's threaded in with all the others.
So with everything that I'm kind of seeing right now, would Jack be getting the feeling of, and it's because I'm getting the feeling of, the other spirits that I'm seeing are almost like they're being bound to the tree, and the tick spirit is the one that's actually riding the tree or claiming the tree?
No, from what you're seeing, they are more
Just the
interwound
way you
around
described them,
that.
like being in torment, sounded like they were there against their will.
They may be there against their will, but they are all claiming the tree together.
Okay, so the feeling that I'm getting of getting rid of the tick spirit will release them may not be entirely invalid.
You're unsure. These spirits that look bound together. Normally, if you kill a claimed, the spirit pops out. These spirits are so fused together with each other in the tree, you're not sure what's going to happen if you kill the tree.
Fuck.
Claims are your territory, bud.
Yeah, I know. And my instinct
do I sense that Jack is faltering slightly? That he's looking at this and he seems exasperated?
Yeah, Jack.
I can make an empathy roll if you need me to.
He's not hiding it. He's got that kind of like.
Okay, like shit.
All right,
what do
I'm
I
not
do
sure
here?
what to do right now.
Okay.
Your bone might come into play, the cub.
So Thornbreaker
Exactly.
Thornbreaker walks up next to Jack and like shoulders him slightly, like wolves do to like get his attention.
Yeah.
And he whispers as he looks up at the sky for a moment, grinning as the rain hits his face, and he says, "Luna here. I dream this. This how I get my deed name, Thornbreaker."
I look at him. So we kill the tree?
He nods. He turns to Johnny and he says, "Flank, I howl."
And I do my thing.
Chris, is primal strength still active?
No. Now it's going to be. You need to reactivate it for this scene.
Okay. I'm going to do that, anticipating a bloody fight.
Are you also activating Killer Instinct?
That I don't think that lasts the scene.
It's scene long.
It does.
It does. Okay, so then I'll. You know what? The only reason I'm not going to is because it's reflexive.
So you can wait till the first turn if you want to.
Right. Just in case for some reason we end up not having to fight this thing.
Yep. Okay.
I'm not burning through all of my S.
Yeah. No. Completely understandable.
So, Chris, I'm going to use my fading merit to add my cunning renown to my stealth roll for this for my stealth rolls for this scene.
Okay.
I will get to it.
Okay. Any other powers people kicking off before we get to it? I think then we're going to have a quick bio break for 5 minutes.
Sure, we can have a bio. I'm going to before we lead in, I'm going to use my War Howl, but that'll be when we're ready to.
That'll be the opener. Yeah.
That'll be the opener.
I'm just making my stealth roll for later, so we have it.
Okay.
2 successes.
So the only other thing I was debating on doing was howling winds on the caretaker so that they can't run.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that kicks off during the thing. So for now, we're going to have a 5-minute bio break, I think.
For me, I'm going to go grab a snack.
Yep. Grab a snack. Get refills.
Sorry, when we get back, maybe we should address the audience if anybody has any questions, predictions, anything like that.
Sorry, what were you asking, Pete?
My new moon ability, the one that can let me close distances, is there any limit to it, or is there, as long as I can see the damn thing, I can just close the distance?
Yeah.
Okay.
It turns out you were over there all along.
Okay. Where's the Araka?
Yeah, it works exactly like that. You just go, surprise, out of closet. Right, okay.
You are now Stokes, Pete.
All right, we're gonna jump to an intermission quick, and when we get back, we will handle the tree.
Yep.
Hopefully. Bye.
Okay.
we're just waiting on the other guys getting back, and then we will be jumping into this this fight, which we are excited for. Play some music while we wait from Philip Melvin.
If I say something, is this going to broadcast the channel?
Yes. Correct.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing. I was just wondering if we were still broadcasting the channel. If I said something, and apparently we are, but we are still on the intermission. Just waiting for everyone to.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not going to plunge straight to the Warhowl initiative roll. There's probably one more dice roll I want to do for what's going to happen before we kick off.
Sure.
But that will be. So I'll just quickly do once Keith is back. So just for my mention, so the current disposition of the pack is that essentially Thornbreaker and Jack are going up the middle, as it were, and then Johnny is off on
surprise, motherfucker.
Right, yeah. Jump scare. Hello. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know if anyone is in the channel has any questions or anything. If they're just happily watching, but Looks like we got at least a minute or two before Keith is back, so happy to chat if anyone is there. Otherwise, anyone watching the recording of this will be like, the Dead Space bit where nothing happened because everyone's having drinks or doing their thing. Yeah, such is the nature of doing a stream and sort of uploading it afterwards, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, we're finally going to get to the first actual fight for a werewolf pack in session 3, which is quite, many ways, quite restrained. But,
and of course, it seems like we picked a fight with the worst possible thing of our options. So
not really, I mean, I had two options for what the opposition you're going to encounter were going to be, and so I've chosen this one. It's always a bit. I'm a little bit nervous because it's always a bit tricky with a new pack to gauge the combat strength of the pack and what it can and can't fight, because werewolves are very variable. You know, even your weak, weedy scholar werewolf can actually tear someone's face off,
right?
And regenerate huge amounts of damage. So I feel fairly comfortable. I'm not about to accidentally TPK the party, but it's going to be quite an interesting fight for just calibrating slightly the.
We do have a question of how do you play Werewolf the Forsaken?
Yes, Interiority asks, Dear Chris, how does one play Werewolf the Forsaken? Give me the 5-minute version.
Oh, the 5-minute version. The 5-minute version, you are playing one of a pack of werewolves. Caught in between the physical and spiritual worlds. The spiritual world is full of absolute bullshit, and so is the physical world. Most people want to kill you. You need to enforce the boundaries, hold your territory. It's a game of body horror, savage fear, and occult paranoia, where monsters slither in the shadows and often take people as puppets. Defend what is yours, hold your ground, and hunt. Playing in a mechanical term is it's Chronicles of Darkness. It's a D10 dice pool based system, so it generally adds stat and skill. Roll the dice. 8+ is a success. 10 is an exploding die. Count successes. Generally 5 gives you an exceptional success, which gives you extra bonuses. These guys are werewolves, so they have a big pile of extra shiny supernatural powers on top of that, but that's the core of it. So it's an interesting game from the point of view of having a very assumed. You know how in a lot of games you have the starting point. How do all these guys get together? Why are they doing this thing together? Okay, you all meet in a tavern and you are all kind of vaguely inclined to follow this quest. Werewolf has a very different assumption. You are all part of the same pack, and the pack is closer to you than brothers, closer to you than blood. The pack is your family. The pack is what matters. So it has a very strong core assumption of the group of people are here and they all have each other's back in a world full of horrific shit.
No, we're still alive.
Oh, looks like Keith might be on his way back. Yep. Sounds like he's on his way back. So
it took a little longer to make the coffee.
He returns. So that was a less than 5-minute pitch of Werewolf. I could go into more detail. I could talk about Werewolf all day, to be honest. But right. So let's see.
No, if our 5 minutes isn't up, guys, please feel free to continue.
No, it's good. There's someone. We're chatting to someone in the channel. If people are happy to go, there's one thing before we get to initiative and war howling that I want to do. You are preparing. So you've got Jack and Thornbreaker near one another, ready to approach on the attack, and Johnny has gone off on the arc. And as you're going around, Johnny, you're being stealthy as you can. There's a moment where the voice, the deep woman's voice from the outbuilding, sort of stops. And goes, Julish, and for a moment you're like, what? A, what the hell does that mean? B, shit, have I just been spotted? But then the voice from the other one nearby, a woman's voice again, not as deep as the first, speaks back. And you're they were just calling to one another. They speak in a language that is very painfully sort of familiar, but it's not first tongue. Can I please have int plus academics rolls?
Oh God.
No, you may not, Chris.
You may not. You are getting a chance die, my friend.
All right, let me see what I have here.
Willpower.
You're getting a chance die.
Chance die for me as well.
Let's have it.
Chris, real quick. So because Jack kind of froze on the spot, would that have triggered Cub and throw me a point of willpower back? Because I'm taking the lead. I'm kind of leaning on Bill for. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, I failed, but it's not a dramatic failure.
Same.
Okay.
Do you need it from everybody in plus academics?
8 plus academics, yeah.
Oh, hey, I have dice pool in that.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm a college kid. What do you expect?
That's true.
Look,
Any
I figured he made it to college on something.
Any successes from
That's
anybody?
a 4 success for me.
A success from you?
That's 4.
4.
Wow.
Jesus
10,
Christ.
9, 9, 8.
Whoa.
Okay. So I don't know what.
On 3 dice.
I don't know
This
what.
was the one class Jack wasn't drunk for.
What was Jack studying at college? But maybe this will help inform us as to what he was studying in university, because you go, they're speaking Old English. They're speaking the Anglo-Saxon age tongue. You can't really understand it very well.
History.
Bits of it you
Jack
can.
was a history major.
They're speaking. These things are speaking to one another in Anglo-Saxon Old English.
When we say these things, we're talking about the humans that smell funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keith, you're here on a rugby scholarship. You're a liberal arts major.
No, I'm a history major.
That one lecture you were awake for.
Teacher.
Yeah, they're speaking. This is the language of Beowulf and all that. This is the really old, and it's not like some hammy crappy. Let's speak in Old English, the kind of fun thing we learn at university kind of thing. They're speaking it fluently.
Legit Old English.
Legit Old English.
I'm gonna let them. I'm gonna let Bill know because I don't know where Johnny disappeared to.
Okay.
This
Johnny was there, and then I turned, and he was gone.
With 4 successes, I'll say this has slightly concerning connotations for not necessarily the age of the. Well, it depends what they are, but we'll see. At this point, you become aware that the slight shiver in the shadows. You become aware that the Iraka is in position, and it's time for Thornbreaker to give the howl and set to work.
I can tell these things just in general. I got to be at least a couple of 100 years old, though. The fact that they can speak this fluently.
Much older than that. But the question is, what are they? It depends what of them might be that old.
Right.
Okay, so now it's time to do the war howl and initiative rolls.
So first Thornbreaker just turns to Jack and in first tongue says, "You ready?"
Sorry, Cheerios.
I'm apple in his mouth. What? No, me ready?
I look at Bill always.
He nods.
Okay.
And then again, looking up at the sky, and is the moon visible right now?
No, the storm is still grumbling overhead. You cannot see the moon.
Right. Okay.
It is the last day of the full moon, but you cannot see it.
So, Chris, I want to start
my
this.
down.
I want to start this in Ursula form.
Mm-hmm. Then you can. You are free to change to whatever form apart from Garu before we kick this off, because Garu is a bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna change to Ursula as well because that's my preferred form.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not.
I'm gonna do something creative.
I'm going Garu and shredding things because
Right.
that's what I do.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use my inspiration here on the activation roll for Warhowl. So let me do this. Warhowl.
Okay, so you gain a point of willpower back, and you exceptionally succeed on 3 successes rather than 5.
Yes. So where is the? Here we go. So it's going to be.
In the
presence,
meantime, Chris, can you just
expression.
refresh my memory? Initiative is just 1d10 plus the modifier.
1d10 plus the modifier, correct.
Okay.
And the 10 doesn't explode either.
Right.
The initiative modifier is based on your wits plus composure, right?
Is it wits or is it dex? I think it's dex plus
Dexterity plus composure. Thank
And
you.
note that your forms will affect that.
Correct. All right. So my initiative, Chris, for your knowledge, is a 10.
Okay, let me put this down. So we've got Jack on 10.
Let me roll mine.
I'm going to spend a point of willpower also. That's going to be three extra dice.
You can't spend willpower on your Warhowl. Yes, you can spend willpower on Warhowl. I thought you were talking on the initiative, which you don't.
No,
Chris,
no,
I thought the same thing for a second. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I'm gonna
Like,
I'm gonna get the point of willpower back too. So it's silly for me not to do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Buff it, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Really?
Didn't get the exceptional, but that's all right. I got 2 successes on it.
Okay, so the first 2 rounds of the combat, you will all have +1 to damage.
I'm getting my initiative. Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, we won the war. Sorry.
that's a +7 for me. 13.
Okay, so that's 13 for Johnny.
My initiative
And-
will be
yeah.
6 dice.
So roll 1d10, add your initiative.
Yep. Roll 1d10. 14.
Oh, nice. 14. Okay, so that is Thornbreaker. Okay, so here's how it kicks off. You howl, and then obviously that was your opener to the fight, but then we go into the first round. The howl echoes through the trees. Ahead, the bloated outline of the tree of heads twitches, and you see the heads on the branches. You can see the faint outlines of them shiver slightly. And that scent, that rotting scent, wafts very strongly. The singing, the mumbling over the food stops immediately, but the first action is in fact way back from the way you came. The one you passed, which was obviously working away with agricultural tools and something. You hear it's the first react on the scale. The noises are difficult to perceive from this. It sounds like it's probably dropped whatever it was doing, and it gives this like angry shout, but the shout sounds almost strangled. Like it's angry. It's picked up something going down, and you can hear them stomping in this direction, but it will take a little while before it gets to you. It's moving fast, but it's not moving that fast. There's something, the sound of the voice is off and unpleasant in some way. Not quite easy to define without seeing it. Next on the list, however, is Thornbreaker. You're up. You know roughly where the one outside the building is, near it, but she's not in it, and there's another one in the building. And there's also someone coming at you from behind, but they're at least a turn or two away.
Sure. All right. So, in Urshul, I'm charging towards this tree, and I'm going to try to find what looks like the most vulnerable thing I can get my teeth around, and I'm going to attempt to bite it.
Okay. You charge towards it, and it looms out thus dimly lit from the electric light in the outhouse. You can see a little bit of light cast over it. You can see it anyway, but it casts it in an ominous set of shadows anyway. It is... The bloating is more than just tree, it's also flesh. Mm-hmm. You're not quite sure where the flesh comes from, but it's marbled mixture of overlapping stuff sort of welling out of itself. The branches look like tortuous limbs. They're too big. They're not just human arms in like that, but they have the aspect of human arms twisted around, and occasionally bark gives way to sinew. The leaves are few and scant, broad, fleshy, and it has this ghastly harvest of heads. There are not many heads on the branches. You can only see about 5. It looks various places where there's twisted, old, withered bits of what look almost like spinal cord. It must have not that long ago, maybe in the season or two, had a much greater harvest, but they've long since been picked. The heads that remain, these distorted, twisted, spoiled heads, smell. They reek badly, though there are no flies. Rising up the mound, there's a split almost at the front. Which appears to... It looks like the tree has grown up and around an old shrine, an old country shrine, like a little thing, not big, only about 4 feet tall. The wood of which is long since mostly rotted away. There's an very damaged old stone statue in there that doesn't... The features have mostly gone. In terms of what is vulnerable, it's a large tree. So you could try tearing at the fleshy part, but it is a large tree.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have your attack roll. It has no defense.
Okay.
So you simply make a full attack roll.
Sure. So... Alright. I'm going to be rolling a total of 10 dice then.
Yep. It's strength plus brawl. Your strength is higher than normal because you are inertial, and you get bonus dice from specialty if you have any.
I do have specialty in bite.
The damage bonus, remember, this is second ed, so the damage bonus adds to the result, not to the dice pool.
Sure.
And you get +1 because you war howled. I think that applies to you too.
Yeah. Alright, so I rolled 2 successes, then I normally get 2 lethal damage from my teeth, plus the additional 1 from my Warhouse.
Yeah.
That's a total of 5 lethal
Okay.
damage.
You do considerably less than 5 damage. It has damage reduction, basically an equivalent to. It's not armor; it's something else, but it is. I know, Sparky. You bite, you rip, you rip away, and the flesh you tear into is a mixture of bark and something meatier, and it's sweet, sickly sweet. It's not blood; it's a sort of ichorous, sappy mess. And you rip, you pull away, and you look back, and you look at the tree and realize you have made very little dent with your teeth. Taking this thing down, you feel fairly certain it's going to take a lot more than just chewing on it, unless you have a lot of time to chew on it.
Okay.
Next up is Johnny, currently hidden in the gloom.
So there's a human next to the tree right now, right?
Not that far from it. There is no. She's not really close, but you can smell the woman who smells of ash is in the shade of a tree near it.
Okay. There's a fire near the tree, you said, right?
There is no, the electric light is coming from inside the outhouse.
Is there any sort of an electrical wire that runs from the outhouse to the tree, or in the vicinity?
No, not near the tree. The cabling for the outhouse heads away out of the orchard.
Okay. I was figure it out. All right. I kind of want to minimize our who we're fighting, so I'm gonna target the woman.
Yep.
In her shul form, I start breaking out into a run. I use the Araka. I spring load myself from Urshul down to Dalu to increase my speed by 5 and my initiative by 2 for the roll.
Okay, let me pop your initiative up then.
I will then use the Araka ability to close the gap.
Yep. So are you going to launch a surprise attack? Are you going to eviscerate?
I'm launching, okay. And then I'm going to eviscerate.
Right. She doesn't know you're coming, so you get the eviscerate. She doesn't have any defense because she doesn't know you're coming. As you close in, you see the form of this woman, and she's leaning against the tree in a slightly sort of languid, laid-back kind of way until she starts to tense as soon as she hears you coming in fast, but it's too late. She is lean. She's wearing light sort of light vest and long trousers, all quite dirty and tangled probably from work. She smells strong. She's not daubed with ash, but I think there's ash sort of around her. And when she's breathing, ash is coming out, like soot is just coming out with her breath. She's also, as you get closer to the leanness, she is powerfully muscled for someone so lean. Like, it's not bulk, but she has too much strength for someone of her size. The other odd thing is, at her feet are a couple of hares that are sleeping, completely, not paying any attention to theirs. They're simply there as if it's the most natural thing in the world to sleep at this woman's feet. Your attack roll, sir. You have no defense to worry about because she is unaware until you make the attack.
I am rolling. I'm going to use a point of willpower.
Yep, and you have rote, so you get to re-roll all the failures on the first roll.
Sorry, Mike.
It's all right. You are in Dalu, aren't you? You said.
Yeah, I went to Dalu.
Are you using a weapon, or are you using your natural weapening?
I'm using my knife.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
That I picked up.
Yep.
I'm trying to pull them.
What do we got?
So 2 successes so far with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 dice that didn't succeed, so I believe I get to re-roll 8d10.
Jesus. Yes. Yep, you're re-rolling the 8 to 10 because it's right.
That is brutal.
Yep.
And another 2 successes.
Okay, so it's 4 successes
plus 1
for the knife. Yep. So 5 successes. Sorry, 5 damage from 4 successes. So you spring out of the darkness. She doesn't shriek or shout. She gives like this angry hiss, like a kettle, as you come in. And sparks, embers start to come from her mouth as she sort of turns at the last moment, and you jam the knife in. She staggers. She is badly injured from that, but if she was a normal human being, you would expect her to be damage 5.
Bleeding out.
On her last legs, really badly, almost down. Instead, she looks very, very pissed off.
So I then kick off her and
Yep.
using my speed, book it back into the orchard.
Okay.
And if I can, I'd like to try to jump back into the shadows.
It's generally, I think, an action to hide unless you have a
Okay.
specific thing that you do otherwise. So you are moved away, but yeah.
Yeah, my speed is 16 because I spring loaded at the start of
Yep.
this.
So she's heard the howl, and then suddenly this maniac, bulky guy with a knife has slipped out and slammed into her. She's next. She turns, growls in your direction, and thump, catches fire. The breath roils out in flame. Her skin ignites, and she limbs like a bonfire as the claimed ignites in flame. Eyes glinting like cold. And she comes after you, and she moves damn fast. She moves superhumanly fast after you, roaring after you. She's heard the shout, but you're the person who's actually come in to attack her, so she's blitzing after you. There's a couple of things I need to check. I don't think fire elemental effects will do any immediate damage, but it will if you hang around next turn.
Yeah, I'm not planning on it.
Just getting this open.
Oh shit.
Okay, so she comes after you. Sorry, attack. And from her, she checks up from her overalls, she pulls out a knife of sharpened blackened bone.
Okay.
As she comes after you, stabbing with.
I want this thing, by the way.
She what's her attack? What is your defense?
In this form, my
Yeah.
defense is dexterity is 3, athletics is 2. That makes my defense 5.
Okay, she's going to spend willpower. She's not going to all-out attack, but she is spending willpower to attack you. And that is a few successes, actually. 3 successes, so 4 lethal damage as she comes after you with this knife and stabs deep. And she shouts something in Old English, but called up and out rather than at you. She's obviously calling out.
Okay.
That was the fire claimed. Jack, so you've now seen this kick off, and this woman's going thump and limbed with fire.
What do I see as immediate targets?
The tree, which Thornbreaker attacked,
Right.
really, you think you're going to need some heavier duty equipment than your teeth to take the tree down.
Right.
There is the woman who has caught fire and is chasing after Johnny through the shadowy
And
trees.
she's within range of me?
Yeah, because you're in Urshel form, so you can easily.
I'm about to switch into Garu, so
Yeah.
keep-
Well, either you can clear the ground if you need to. She's not on her last legs, so whether you should go to Garu or try and cripple her with Urshel, 2 options. So raw power of Garu or combat power of Urshel, both good choices. You can reach her in either. There is whoever is in that hut who smells of rotting, that outhouse who smells of rotting apples, but you can't. You can get in there if you want, but you don't know what's waiting for you in there.
Right. So I'm going to shift to Urshel, and I'm going to.
So you're shifting to Garu, or are you in Urshel already?
No, I was in Urhan to begin with.
All right, okay.
We were all in Urhan.
If you
Yeah,
want to,
he let us set up in different forms if we wanted to. At
Oh,
the
I'm
start.
sorry.
yeah. If you want to start in Urshel, you can be in Urshel.
Yes.
Yep, because otherwise it takes an action to shapeshift.
Right. So right, and then you can still spend the point of essence to switch to Garu.
Reflexively, yes.
Okay.
Do that.
So I'm going to use, and I don't remember if Killer Instinct affects only Garu or if it affects.
It affects everything.
All your brawl and weaponry attacks get again with Killer Instinct.
Okay, and that's so any bite attacks or claw attacks that affect. Although biting a burning spirit probably not the best idea.
Yep.
Okay, so that kind of sucks because I'm gonna lose a point of brawl there. All right, so I'm gonna claw her.
Okay, so you shoot across.
I'm gonna activate my gift first.
You activate the gift. You feel the essence through you, and the blood in you surge with power, and everything seems to sharpen its edges. Not with keenness of perception, but with keenness of minimizing the metaphysical distance between you and someone being dead. You have that. It just seems so much easier now. Zoom across. Urshel are big. Urshel are big animals.
Right.
They are pony-sized kind of wolves that you storm through. She knows you are coming at this point, but is trying to split her attention between the guy she's trying to stab and this thing coming in. So you come rocketing in. Now, she has a defense reset because she had her turn. Her defense is 8. She's very fast. And she's claimed they have superhuman stats.
Right. Question: didn't she take an attack from me? So wouldn't
she did? But then she had her turn, which resets her defense.
Okay, fair enough.
Mia. So that's 6 plus another 4 for my brawl.
Yeah, you've got bonus strength from being an Ursher. You've got bonus strength from primal strength. 2 more points there.
Right. Okay. So that's I'm sorry. So that's 6. That's 8 plus another 4 for the brawl is 12.
Yep.
And then I take 8 away from that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
She's fast.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt. So that's 12. I'm gonna spend a point of willpower.
Yep.
So I have 7. I'm rolling 7d10.
Yep. And your 8s explode. So any success explodes.
All right. I think I have this calculated right. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it doesn't affect this attack anyway. 3 successes.
1, 2, yes, that is all good. Yeah, that's exploded correctly. Okay, so 3 successes. You are using your claw, which in Ursula
an extra additional 1 in Urhan.
And +1 for my Warhowl still.
That's true. That's the point I forgot. You should have taken extra point of damage from. She should have taken extra point of damage from Johnny as well, then, shouldn't she?
Correct.
Yeah.
So how much am I dealing to her from Jack just there in total?
So Jack is dealing 5.
5. Okay. Now she is looking quite badly. You rip in, slash with the claws, which cut into the flesh, rip down. Soot and blood spills out of her as you tear into her. She's burning inside and out. Her flesh is literally embers. You take from her blaze 3 points of lethal damage simply because she is blazing like crazy. And the fire is in fact building up, but the heat within her is weakening due to the sheer amount of damage she's taken. Okay. You would have put a human down trivially with the amount you two have piled on, but she is still standing, but she's not looking good.
Right. I'm not looking bad either.
No. That was Jack. Okay.
Yeah.
Within the there is movement within the outbuilding, and stooping out comes another claimed. She is huge. She was probably very tall as a normal human being, and the claiming of the spirit in her has given her serious extra bulk. Some of it's fat, a lot of it's muscle. She has to stoop to get out the doors. She almost looks like your classic kind of ogre in terms of sheer physicality. Her face is features oddly bloated. Again, saggy in places. There's broader jaw, but she smells of rot. So whatever's claimed her is not healthy. She doesn't look like she is rotting. She just looks like the flesh is spoiled and bruised. Her hair is long and lank.
So it'll taste gross, but it won't hurt me.
Yeah. Probably not.
In theory, it'll taste gross, but won't hurt.
She comes out, and as she in the hair as well. Oh yeah, there's it looks like there's bits of dead leaves and things in her hair. There's some crying baby in the background distracting me from what. Okay, so what was the other thing to say about her? So she's massive, she's big, she's heavy. She has in one hand a very stout staff, like a wooden of gnarled wood that looks twisted. It looks like it may have been taken from the tree, like it's a twisted, tormented stretch of almost arm-like wood. And she's wearing comparatively normal-looking farm labourer's clothes, except they're oddly stained around places. And they've had to be tailored to fit her sheer bulk. This is not someone who could walk around with the normal mortals and have them go, wow, she looks normal. She looks out and her breath fumes out with this stench of rot. peers to see what the piss is going on, and starts to stomp forward. She is not very fast. She's not able to get to any of you because you went after the other one who was a distance away. She is moving towards the tree, and as she moves closer to the tree, you see her physically bulking out. Her flesh is warping and bulking even more, like it's bits of skin split as growth within spusses out rotting flesh. Simply being, she just seems stronger in its presence. Her eyes begin to shimmer with a sickly green phosphorescence. And then she stops, stands still, and starts to fade away, like shimmering against the background as if she's simply fading in among the trees. You think you know roughly where she is still, but she appears to be not chameleonic so much as reality around her is changing, simply match the backdrop of the orchard. That was the rock claimed. Back round to the top, the other one. Again, in the background, now stomping faster, shouting angrily. The one who you left a while back is running towards the scene as fast as they can, pushing through the trees. And the scent of bad breath is coming before them, but they haven't reached you yet. They'll be here probably next round. Johnny.
All right, so she's looking rough, right?
Just so the reason why you're now going ahead of Thornbreaker is because you spring loaded up, so your initiative's popped up. Yep. So what were you asking?
She is looking rough, right?
The fire claimed is looking pretty rough at this point. Yeah, she's
right.
her health track is nearly filled with lethal. Filling it won't necessarily take her out, but she will be in a lot of bad ways.
Right, she'll be taking penalties and all kinds of nastiness.
So, my point is, I'm going to take the killing form.
Okay. Are you spending an essence to do it reflexively?
I thought at Harmony 7 we can just shift.
No, Harmony 7 it's a turn to shift. You don't have to worry about rolling or involuntarily shifting.
Got it.
Garu is the killing form.
Ah!
It's not the hunting or fighting form, it's the killing form. Ursula is for harrying the prey, and when you have them cornered and wounded and you want to take them down, you flip to Garu and murder the shit out of them.
And she's cornered and wounded.
She's pinned between, she's on the other side is Jack as this massive Ursula. Oh, I forgot something. Jack, once per scene as Ursula, you can inflict a tilt when you wound someone as Ursula. Yeah? Okay. So you can apply arm rack, leg rack, or knocked down.
A what?
Arm rack breaks one of her arms. Leg rack breaks one of her legs. Knockdown knocks her down.
That's gorgeous.
It's why Ursula is like the tactical form. You
I know what I'll be doing next turn.
Well, which one do you wish to
factory?
You can have applied one with your last attack. So I was saying,
I'm saving.
Okay. Yep. Well, she might not be long for this world anyway, so you might not need it.
Right. I'm saving it. She was already injured, and I'm saving it for the big one that looks like she keeps getting stronger as she gets closer to the tree. Yep. But I'm going to knock her. I'm going to break her leg so she can't get closer to the damn tree.
Okay. So, Johnny, Garu form and just murdering her?
Yeah, straight up murdering her.
Okay.
Rip her head clean from her body.
And this is the second. This is the second turn, so you guys still have the +1 lethal. Don't forget.
You still have.
So she doesn't get to add her athletics to defense anymore. No. Is that correct?
So, there's several things going on. Firstly, she doesn't get to add her athletics to her defense, so her defense is lower. She's also on some wound penalties, so her defense is lower, and she's been attacked since last action. So her defense against you in Garu is 3.
Okay. I have 5 strength in Garu with 2 dots in brawl, so that's 4d10.
Yep.
Willpower it.
Yep, always a good choice. And in fact, I'm not saying you should do this, but in another thing to think about, in Garu, because you do the full heal, all-out attacks become a lot less risky in Garu. You don't know the strength
what is this? All-out attack is what? Plus
2 dice, but you lose your defense.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
I'm going to all-out attack, too.
Okay. Going for the kill.
Yep. So it's 90-10, I believe, minus... which becomes 60-10.
No, the 90-10 I think was already with your... So you were 70d10... What was your base?
Oh, yes. You're right, yeah.
I think you're 90-10 after the defense removal.
And with the willpower.
Yeah.
And the all-out attack.
Yep. It's a good way to stack up huge amounts of dice.
2 successes, which makes it 4 successes with the bite. which an extra 1 success because of Thornbreaker's
5 more damage.
5 more damage.
Right, now I've just got to figure out what she's on. Right, so I've got to make a roll for her, see if she stays conscious. Yeah. She does stay conscious in the face of the sheer amount you're ripping and tearing and ripping. She is still up. You take 3 points of lethal damage from the flames roaring around her. She is horrifically injured. You know, this is full bore hospitalization scale here. She will bleed to death. Because she is bleeding. But
I
she's
heal
still
all the damage, right?
Yes, you also heal them, so you're not actually that worried about the burny bit. But yes, yes, you can stand there with her being on fire without too many problems or concerns. You really torn her badly.
My Garu is like kind of like this long, gamely looking thing, almost like Lupin, but more badass looking from the 3rd Harry Potter movie.
For any viewers, the werewolf have 5 forms, putting human and wolf on scale, and Garu, the killing form, is the big wolf-headed, massive, classic werewolf monster look, absolute killing machine, which is what he's currently using. Okay, so Johnny rips into the fire claimed, leaving her cripplingly badly injured. Thornbreaker, you are up.
Okay.
You've got 2 viable targets. You can go after the fire claimed, or you can go after the rock claimed is closing in on you.
I'm gonna go for the rot claimed, and let me just see here. Do you have to announce if you're gonna use your?
Okay.
Do you have to claim ahead of time if you're gonna try to use your weaken the prey ability?
Is that the Urshel one?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it's just the first time you injure someone. When you injure someone, you once per scene you can go. I apply a tilt.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so, what is their defense?
Good question. What is her defense? She is defense 6.
6. All right.
Again, higher than you would expect for someone that bulk and size, but she's claimed her physical capabilities and probably some of her mental ones are superhuman.
I will spend a point of willpower.
Mm-hmm.
So that ends up with the willpower. I'm going to be at 7 dice.
Yep.
All right. Let's give it a roll. That's 2 successes.
Yep.
And I'm biting, so that's 2 lethal damage base plus the 1
Yep.
from my War Howl, which is still active for this turn. So that is a total of 5 damage.
Okay, you bite in. She smells human flesh taste mixed with rot. It's horrible, but it's not toxic. She takes considerably less damage than you think she should have. Because she's powered up by presence of the tree. She's benefiting from a home ground dread power, which greatly reduces her damage taken. So let me just put her to. Are you going to tilt her?
Yeah, I'm going to give her. I'm going to give her leg wrap. No, you know what? She's.
I'm coming in on the next attack to rip into her, so I don't know if taking her down would help.
No, I'm going to give her the leg rack.
Okay. Crunch, bite, twist the leg. There is the sound of cracking bone and fetid spilling of rotted ichor and blood pours out of her. She's, losing her grip. She's propping herself up on her staff. Her leg can take a bit of weight, but it's fundamentally trashed at the moment. You do see her flesh is starting to knit back together slowly. It's not doing it fast enough to get rid of the rack yet, but she appears to be regenerating slowly. That was Thornbreaker. Okay, the claimed on fire, seeing that she is being flanked by 2 werewolves who are, ripping into her and causing horrific damage, she spits an invective in Old English and then runs. She flees. She's going. What's her speed? Her speed is something disgusting. She's considerably faster than a human should be. So she's fast as a top end human sprinter before she activates her dread powers, and that doubles it. So she is running. I don't know if she's running faster than you would go in wolf form, but she is running very fast. As she goes, the flames die down. No, the flames don't. They stay actually. So she's a flame. You can see this flaming torch blazing away. The shadows rippling weirdly among the trees as she passes them. It casts the shadows very strangely as she pegs it. She is not hanging around to get ripped to shreds. She moves quite a distance. It's something like 9, 10, 11, 12. She moves about 26 speed.
Oh shit! I can't catch her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she blazes away.
Brutal.
She's burned, like the air is roiling as she's burning essence off to do this. But she is going fast out of there.
Okay.
Jack, your original prey has fucking bolted for it in the trees. She is not.
Good,
So there's no sort of like attack of opportunity in the system, right?
There is no attack of opportunity. No.
I was gonna leave her. I was gonna leave her to Johnny anyway.
As well, it was a great way to stop people running away. Leg rack them, for example. But yeah.
So that was convenient.
Yep.
That she ran.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn to the rotting one, and I am going to come bolting over and break her other leg.
Okay.
She's not going anywhere. She's not getting any closer to that fucking tree.
No, her defense, the rock claim defense has dropped. She's taken 1 attack, so it would drop to 6, but she's also leg racked. Let me just check the damage.
But I thought it was 6 last turn, so wouldn't it be 5?
It would be 5. But
Okay.
she's also
Leg rack
But
might
she's
reduce
leg
defense.
It does
Yes.
reduce defense. It reduces it by 1, I think.
By
No.
2.
Two.
So she's down to defense 3.
Okay. So I'm gonna bite her. So I get 8 strength because of the gift.
Yep.
I get an additional 4 plus 1 because I have a specialty in bites. That's 13.
Okay. So
And
you're
that's
rolling
my
10
type to
dice.
roll. So I'm
10
rolling
dice.
10.
You can also attack of opportunity. No, or attack of opportunity. You can all out attack if you want to lose your defense for 2 more dice, and you can willpower for 3 more dice.
I don't know that it's worth losing my defense just yet.
Okay.
Because I also get the 8 again.
Mhm.
Really?
What was it?
Terrible. It was terrible, is what it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, but I did finally roll an 8, so I just want to count and make sure it's rolling 8 again correctly.
Okay.
1, 2.
It did.
3,
That
4.
6 that's italicized, that's the
Yeah,
exact version.
yeah, it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got 2 successes plus an additional 1 for Thornbreaker's thing, plus an additional 2 because I'm biting.
Yep.
So that would be 5.
Again, the damage is much less than it should be because she's on home ground, but you are ripping in. You can also tilt her if you wish.
All right.
You can tilt her you can break both her legs by leg racking her again.
Dan is nodding vigorously, and that was my thought because my next turn I'm going to grapple her and drag her from the tree.
Okay.
I'm going to drag her off her home ground.
Okay, so are you going to leg rack her then?
Oh yeah. I'm
Okay,
going to rip the leg clean off.
You basically get the benefit of a knockdown, but by just breaking it, you bite in. So she's got 1 Urshel ripping at 1 leg. She steadies herself with the staff. You clamp into the other one. You tear and rip until you hear joints pop out and things splinter, and she loses the weight on that leg and is crashing down to her knees, roaring, bellowing in fury. And now it's her turn. Her flesh is starting to knit up, not enough to clear either of the leg racks, but she is regenerating. The blurring around her that was partially starting to mask her, she didn't use a hide, probably hide, so you can still see it, is now gone. She's just in full on, like, I'm going to smash people mode. She's going to go for the first person who attacked her, which is Thornbreaker.
Yes.
What is Thornbreaker's defense?
Thornbreaker's defense is 5 in Urshul.
Okay, she is going to all out attack and spend willpower. I don't think she's double leg rack. She's not like she has a functional defense at this point. She might as well just go.
Right.
So she's propping up on her knees. Actually, hold on. Let me just see what she can actually do. She might not be able to use the staff if she's on the floor. Really, let's just have a look at the double leg rack.
Thornbreaker, I'm just saying, bro, you may need to go Garu after this.
Full leg rack.
She's very big and very strong, and I have a feeling might knock you clean into tomorrow.
All right, so 2 things. 1, I have a way of reducing damage, so we'll see how much damage she does.
Okay.
2, I may actually use Predator's Unmatched Pursuit after this, to chase down the fire claimed, because I am a blood talon and I accept no surrender I would not offer myself. So I'm taking that. I'm taking that one down, right? So you guys can now turn to her.
Yes,
she's not surrendering. Dancing running and surrendering.
I initiated the sacred hunt, and it's the tree. I'm going after the tree, so you're welcome to do that, sir. As a blood talent, go for it.
So
I'm focusing on the biggest and the baddest because that's what I do.
Sure. What's the damage here, Chris?
Not very high. She rolled a very very large dice pool, but she tries to prop herself on the staff, ends up dropping it because she can't physically swing it, and simply lunges at you with these big meaty hands. She does connect, but it's only 2 points of bashing.
So I actually don't take any because I have preferred form Urshul, so I have 2 armor. So
okay, the lowest you can take is 1 point of bashing.
All right, so I take 1 point of bashing.
Yeah,
and it'll heal your next turn anyway.
Sure.
She just sort of trying to prop herself up. She just flails one meaty fist and happens to catch you. But you think she probably should have done that. It was the force of a battering ram. It just happened to glance off you. You didn't get the full strength.
Yep.
That is her turn done. Okay, the other one looming out, roaring out of the darkness, not making it to contact with you, but you now see him. A guy comes wearing again heavy, ragged labourer's clothes. But this claimed is much, much more twisted in appearance. Long, rangy limbs are sort of cracked with too many joints. The skin is tight and shriveled and seems scabrous in places. And the head is changing as he runs in from the darkness.
Oh, God.
There are too many teeth. The jaws are unhinged in a way that is not a human face anymore. He has unfolding, splitting parts of jaw in multiple kind of sections, riddled with teeth. Rows of teeth, human teeth, inhuman teeth, spilling, well, many of them blackened, spilling down ichor. You look closer, there's a lot of teeth on this guy. He has spines of them breaking his skin on his arms, them growing and ranking growths. His hands are toothed.
Oh, God.
The claimed lurches into the thing, looks around. You can see the eyes glinting in sockets that are overrun by teeth around them, looking at you with scrutinizing closely and shouting something in Old English as he starts to approach. He can't reach you. But what he can do is something else. Let's have a quick look on the dice pool on this.
What he can do is something else.
So, can I get? I think this is going to be a stamina plus resolve roll from Thornbreaker, please. plus primal urge.
Sure.
Oh, just our good buddy.
You said stamina and resolve plus primal urge. That's going to be 8 dice for me.
Okay, have the roll.
That is 1 success.
Okay. He's after the Old English invective. He peers at the nearest of the wolves, which happens to be you, and says, now in first tongue, "Wolves think they have teeth." Then your teeth start to rupture and detonate in your head.
Oh, God.
There's a crack, crack, pop, crunch as you feel your jaw twisting, as if some massive unseen force is ripping at your teeth from within, from without, wrenching. You take 2 points of lethal damage. No armor against this. No armor of 5, so it's only 1 bashing damage. But you are effectively you are currently tooth racked. What I mean is your bite attack, until you heal the bashing, at the end of your next turn, your teeth will have started to repair enough to use them again. Next turn, you cannot use your bite attack.
Sure.
It's a good job you have that armored form, actually, isn't it? 2 points of armor, you're saying, yeah.
It's actually 2/2, which means I have 2 ballistic armor also. So if something shoots me, I convert 2 lethal to bashing, and then from the highest damage to the lowest damage, I then reduce 2 damage. So that's really useful.
Ballistic is not bullet, so ballistic doesn't apply.
Correct. I was just saying it's a really useful.
I gotta get you some more.
Really useful merit.
So that is the draw claims. Johnny.
I'm assuming Rotface sees me, so I can't kind of He's not distracted enough by Thornbreaker for me to try to get into an eviscerate.
No.
Okay, I am going to try to kill the giantess.
Okay.
Her defense should be like painfully low now, right?
She doesn't have a defense score.
Yeah, now that she's double racked.
She's gonna get all out attacked.
Yeah. I think she doesn't have anyway. It's either painfully low or non-existent.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Just a quick check.
Chris, here's a kind of a dumb question.
Yeah.
I took Fortified Form for Urshel also.
Yes.
Which gives me 1/1. I'm sorry, I have 4. Yeah, so it's 1/1.
Yeah.
So would I have reduced one of those lethal to bashing and reduce the overall damage by 1?
No,
Not
you
from the
wouldn't have
fire
reduced
damage.
it.
No.
Not from the fire.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Fire, unfortunately, isn't blocked by that. She
Okay,
does
no,
have a defense.
I wasn't sure how that worked.
Oh,
Johnny, she has a defense. It's not very high. It is 2.
okay. Rolling. 2 successes. So.
Okay. You no longer, I think, have the. We're on a new round. You no longer the Warhowl bonus is gone.
Mhm.
What's the damage then?
2 plus 2 makes 4.
Yeah, again, far less damage than should be is coming through to this. She's weathering this attack with like not a lot of fuss. You're ripping and tearing, but she's not taking a lot of damage apart from the double leg racks, which are a problem. And as long as you keep damage piling on, she won't be able to heal that.
So I go in, attack, and then move away. Because as long as I attack something in Garu form, I'm fine.
Yeah. Yes, because you're in Garu, aren't you? Sorry, in that case, so you have 2 more dice to roll. She has no defense. She has no skill-based defense against you because you're in Garu. So you do, in fact, have the 2 extra dice.
Okay, let me roll that.
I'd forgotten you were in the killing form.
No extra successes.
Okay. Thornbreaker.
All right, so while still, recovering from the shock that my teeth all just exploded in my head, having seen the fire claimed go sprinting into the darkness, I'm going to activate Predator's Unmatched Pursuit, which is going to add my glory renown to my base speed in Orshul form, and I can spend an additional essence next turn if I need to. The gift lasts for the scene, but in addition, at any point, I can spend an additional essence to double my speed for a turn if I want to.
Okay, so that's your action this turn is to
just activate it. I'll add my glory to my speed. My speed is normally 17 in Urshul. My glory is 2, so it's going to go up to 19.
Yep.
And I'm going to take off after the fire claimed.
Okay. So you're making a single move, so it's the 19 speed move after the going off the claimed. So yeah, there's a flare of power, and your body stiffens and sort of strengthens. Your gait shifts, and then you are off like an arrow into the darkness. Next on the list is the flaming spirit. The flaming claimed is still running off distance. Jack.
Okay.
The rock claimed is down on both knees.
What the hell is relentless?
Bellowing.
Hold on one second.
Some of the merits are coming into play here.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking. I had it and I couldn't remember. Got it. That's dropped. Okay, I'm going to use my merit, Relentless Assault, on the big one.
Okay, what's that do?
So I get I can do full out attack on all out attack against her, but I retain my defense when she tries to hit me. It's like kind of like a tunnel vision on her.
Yep. Okay.
And then I'm going to just rip another chunk out of her throat.
She has defense 1 against you.
Okay. I'm not in killing form.
Yep.
So I don't.
That's why she had
I didn't know No, I just wasn't sure if she was retaining 1 for.
She's down 4 defense from having both her legs broken, and she's down 1 more defense from being attacked already by the Iraka this turn.
Okay, so I've got 8 strength because of the gift.
Yep.
I've got an additional 4 for the bite.
1 for the
plus an
specialization.
additional 1 for the specialty, so that's 13. I lose 1 from that, so that's 12. Yep. God, I roll a lot of dice when I bite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all 8 again, which is fantastic.
Oh, baby.
And it's so it's a total of 6 more damage.
What did you roll out of interest?
I rolled 4 successes, and then the additional 2 from my bomb.
Quite come through. Okay, so 6 damage. That does a significant amount of damage to her. That really rips in.
Can I initiate a grapple with her?
Yes, you can. You can do that for free. So now that shifts you both to acting on the highest initiative of the 2 of you each round, which is yours. You are now you're grappling her. You've got her with your jaws because you are a werewolf.
Can I start to drag her in this turn?
No, that'll be next round. You can try and drag her.
You can go for the arm. I can break her arm.
She's stronger because she's closer to the tree. Dan, are you in agreement that's probably a good idea to start dragging her away from the tree?
Sure. I don't know if it'll help or not, but I think it's
sound logic.
It's sound logic.
Okay. After Jack, it is the rock claimed herself. She doesn't act. She's now in the grapple with you.
I gotta add 2 dice to that.
Okay.
I did a lot of attack. I forgot to add the 2 dice.
2 more dice.
My mistake. I apologize.
No, it's all good.
No successes.
Okay.
Come on.
So you've got her. You're playing, looking like you're going to start dragging her. She doesn't act this round because she's now grappled, and it'll be on both of you going on I think. Let me just double check the grappling.
Both of us go on my turn.
Yeah, they're not actually that complex, the grappling rules, but I will just check to make sure I've got it right. Okay. The grapple doesn't happen immediately, and I don't think it does, because otherwise you could potentially do another set of damage in the same turn. So yeah, so it doesn't. So she's trying to wrestle with this huge wolf on her.
You should break her arm.
The thing with jaws and teeth. Looking at this and not fancy his chances, to be honest.
Just for flavor effect, Jack in all of his forms is a giant black wolf.
Yeah.
With silvery grayish streaks throughout.
Okay, so the draw claim act, can I please have from Jack a stamina plus resolve roll plus primal urge?
Stamina plus resolve plus primal urge is 6.
Jeez.
Okay, hold on. I just gotta make sure I'm doing this right. Two.
Okay, you take 2 points of lethal damage. Sorry?
Yeah, I did that right. Okay.
You take 2 points of lethal damage as teeth in your jaws, like bits of your jaw crack, teeth pop out, something rupture, and detonation sprays a bone.
Does my armor come into play or no?
Yes, it does. So it reduces the damage by 1. So you take 1 lethal, and you are mouth racked again. You cannot use your bite.
I thought it also reduced it to bashing.
No, that's only if you can't. If it would reduce it completely. It cannot. It reduces it down to 1 bash.
Okay.
So you take 1 point lethal. You cannot use your jaws to attack until the end of your next turn when you regeneration.
Okay.
So let me rephrase that. When you regenerate that 1 lethal, your teeth are usable. So if your normal regeneration is only bashing, which is why Thorn Breakers will go at the end of his turn, but yours you will need to spend essence to regenerate or wait 15 minutes. Your teeth have just been spitting and cracking and exploding.
Can I spend the point of essence now, or do I have to wait for my turn?
Did you spend essence during your turn just gone?
I have not spent essence since the beginning of combat.
It's the regeneration happens on your turn, so it will be on your turn you spend the essence.
But the grapple isn't broken because of the
grapple is not broken. You're still in a grapple. You just can't use your teeth to actually do damage. You still have claws. It's just not as effective.
Right.
The claimed, the one, it still snarls an invective at you. Your teeth start to rupture, crack, and spill with like bad ichor, as if you're something awful breath. Infections is cracking and popping with your gums. It then starts to back away slightly into the orchard, obviously still not fancying its chances and mainly trying to give its friend a help, maybe the chance of getting out there, but it's not plunging into the fight proper. That was that. Johnny?
I'm going to look at the tooth claimed. I'm going to call him that now.
Yep.
I will now...
Oh, son of a bitch.
Did you screw something up?
Hold on. 1 second. So Chris, all of my attacks should have done one more damage than they did.
Ah, okay.
I have living weapon bite at 4 dots, which means I ignore armor, 2 points of armor, and I give 1 additional damage. I apologize for not.
No, that's fine. I'm going to add some more damage on. You don't. The damage reduction that the claimed is getting isn't from armor in this case, but the extra damage is still relevant on both of them.
Right. No, I'm looking at it, I'm like, living weapon bite. What the hell is that?
That's all right. No, that's good. Okay, so Johnny, you're still in Garou, aren't you?
Yeah, I got 2 more turns of this before I'm out.
So it's all right. It's all right, Keith. As Chris would say, there's lots of fiddly bits.
Fiddly bits.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about trying to get this guy to stop running away, but no. I'll go after the giantess.
Okay.
No, go after the one that's running away. We must
want
kill
him.
him.
No,
Fine.
he can't catch her. I'm the only one who can catch her.
No, the other one is running away too.
He's talking
not
about
running away yet.
He's not running
talking
away.
about-
Yeah.
So
He's thinking about his options.
the rock claimed is defense 1.
Okay.
She's giantess. She's size 7, so she is significantly bigger than a normal human is, but she's not.
Would she still be defense 1 because I attacked this turn?
But then she had a turn, so her defense resets. Oh, but you're in Garou, so she doesn't get the skill anyway. So you're.
I thought because we were grappled, her turn doesn't happen until my next turn.
But it would have happened, so her defense skill thing.
Got it because the grapple. Got it. Okay.
Yep. So she defense 0 against you because you're in Garou, so she doesn't get any skill-based defense.
And all-out attack for 90-10.
Yep. Let's have it.
2 successes. Makes 4 successes.
Yep, again, ripping and tearing, slowly, injuring this giantess, but she's so resilient. It's like her skin is hard as a tree here. Her flesh is tough and fibrous. Next would be Thornbreaker.
Okay, so I'm now going to spend the point of essence to double my speed.
Yep.
So now I should be able to catch the one that's running.
You are almost, after a double move, you'll almost be where she is. Turn after, you'll be able to just outlap her easily and attack her. This turn, you have almost caught up with her. She has obviously seen this massive wolf.
Oh yeah, he's not trying to not be seen. He's embracing the glory. He wants her to know that she's being hunted and to feel fear.
Her turn goes. She turns, obviously realizing she's not going to easily get away from it, and comes at you. What's your defense?
My defense?
Yep. We're almost finished, guys. The fight will soon be over one way or another, and that'll be the end of the session, because I know Keith has to head off soon.
Sure. My defense in Urshul form is 5.
Okay, so 2. She's going to spend willpower. Lunges at you with the blade. Hits. Only 2 points of lethal damage, so the armor takes it down to 1 bashing.
Sure.
Remember on your turn to have cleared the 1 bashing you took earlier as well from natural regeneration.
Right. So my teeth have healed also.
Yep. Now, Jack, it is your turn. You're in a grapple, so it is opposed strength plus brawl rolls. Now, what was her strength?
Oh, your killer instinct still applies, though.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Does Killer Instinct applies, so does Primal Strength?
Yes.
Fantastic. It's the only way I'm winning this one. Ugh. I roll all these dice, and I still don't do that great.
Dice just aren't working out. What'd you get?
Oh,
4.
Okay. 4. We're going to end, I think, this session for today as the giantess, the flesh on, slowly patching up. The rock claimed. We'll pick up, where we left off at the beginning of the new round. Has this wolf, massive pony-sized wolf, has leapt on her, the dire wolf. She's struggling as you rip into it, and she gets you by the neck, and she hauls you up, and she throws you against one of the nearby trees. She rolled really well, and she exceptionally succeeded getting her 2 options. She just throws you to smash into a tree. I'm just going to figure out what the damage is.
Okay.
From this, I think it's quite high.
Jackson goes 0 to ballistic.
I was like, is it possible to go from 0 to ballistic and shift into Garou while flying through the air?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm just thinking when I hit whatever tree and go through it, I'll go through it in Garu and just stand up and laugh at it.
Like smash out the other side, yeah. Right, let's have a look.
Maybe pick up the remnants of the tree and swing it at her like a giant club.
Right. Okay, she picks you up and she throws you. You take 9 bashing damage from smashing into the tree.
Okay, hold on. So does my armor affect?
Yes, your armor reduces that by your armor from your fortified form and your normally you wouldn't be able to Garu form now in reaction to the impact. You can do it afterwards. You can't sort of get the bonus armor from Garu form out on this, but your fortified form does apply. So that's 1 armor,
so it reduces by 1 bashing.
So 8 bashing. And then as you smash into the tree, and there's the sort of the cracking of while the tree's coming over, and then you're pulling yourself free of it in Garu form. So sorry.
So we end it with Jack goes through a tree and stands up as a giant, black, angry, half wolf, half man.
Yeah.
With pure rage in his eyes. Excellent.
Yeah. I think it's better to end it there, because the fight isn't really over. They still have some fight in them, but it could take a little while to sort of clear up. And I know you guys. Okay. So we're going to finish things up now. We're going to do aspirations. So let's add the 3 beats for just turning up. Can I have aspirations for people? Let's start with Johnny.
Aspirations for Johnny are complete a sacred hunt, which we're
doing. Yep. Point for that.
We didn't make any progress towards finding a totem or establishing a territory. Maybe with this apple tree deal we've worked out, but that's the only other thing I can think of.
I'll give you that. It's related to the idea of building territory and making deals with the spirits. So I'll give you that. Okay. Jack.
Okay, so getting a back totem, obviously we haven't made any progress towards. Destroying Acclaimed, I think we're making very good progress.
Yes.
And establishing a territory, I was going to say, I made the deal with the spirit to maybe more solidify what our territory is, at least to the spirits around us.
I'll give you that.
I've also more or less said, yes, that territory is mine.
Yep.
So I'm making moves towards establishing with the surrounding spirits that, this is ours and you want to come mess with us.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a feeling that ripping this tree apart is going to be a big one of,
Yeah.
Look at what happens when you impede on my territory and on my land.
And Thornbreaker.
So, my aspirations are establish a totem for the pack, which does not apply here, complete the pack's first sacred hunt, which I think we did take steps to, and earn more glory, which I don't know if you think that applies here.
Well, you were talking about the vision you had and the idea that it was for earning glory and deed name, so I will give you that. That gives the pack 30 beats on the dot, which is 2. You have earned 2 experiences each from this session.
Nice.
You're going into next session with no beats. You would have earned a lot more actually if you rolled. If any of you, because if you rolled 5 successes on your attacks, that's an exceptional success on the hunt. You would have been racking up even more beats out of that. Didn't quite happen. You couldn't quite get the rolls there. Struggling a bit, but it's 2 experiences each from this one session. When we pick up next time, we'll be picking up right where we left off in the middle of this fight, as the giantess has healed enough of one of her legs to get back up on one leg, heft her staff, and do battle. The tooth claimed thing is loitering, ready to leap into battle if it looks like the fight might go its way. And Thornbreaker has run down the fire claimed, who turns out to have a bit of fight left in her still. Anything else from any of you 3 before we finish up?
No, that'll be good.
Sounds good to me. Thanks for everybody who stopped by the stream. Definitely tune in next week. Sunday, we're going to be returning to our normal time, I believe, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for the conclusion of the fight against the Claimed, and we'll see where the story takes us from there. Thanks again to Chris Allen for being our awesome storyteller. This was a lot of fun, and we will see you guys next week. For you guys here in the stream, just hang out. We're going to be doing the little musical playoff, and then we can do our little post-session stuff. So have a great rest of your weekend, guys, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.